What a real Pluton battleship. Hearing this, Iceberg and Frankie widened their eyes in shock at the same time. Iceberg immediately retorted, "Impossible." Frankie also said with certainty, "Absolutely impossible. Luffy, you know, there was only one Pluton battleship in this world, and that was 800 years ago. And now, after so many years, about the news of this Pluton battleship has long since disappeared, and it is even uncertain whether this Pluton battleship has been destroyed in the past few hundred years. If you didn't say that just now, maybe I wouldn't doubt it, that you said you knew where things were 800 years ago. This is definitely a lie." As the inherited shipbuilders of the capital of Seven Waters, Iceberg and Frankie can be said to be the people who know the most about Pluton warships. But even they have never heard any news about the location of the Pluton battleship. This young man in front of me who looks like a teenager actually said that he knew the location of the Pluton battleship 800 years ago. Isn't that a buggy egg? Luffy pouted. Don't you know that there is something called a historical text? One of the historical texts is engraved with the whereabouts of the Pluton battleship. Hearing this, Iceberg showed astonishment. You can still understand the text of history? Impossible. In this world, only the son of the devil who is wanted by the government of the world can translate the text of history. But at the next moment, he seemed to remember something, and suddenly shouted in shock. I remember, the black-haired woman on your boat is the son of the devil who is wanted by the government of the world. Call. What do you say that is? After all, you don't live by offering bounties, so it's impossible to remember the names and appearances of every bounty offerer. However, because Nico Robin was offered a reward of 79 million Baileys when he was 8 years old, this incident is so famous that almost everyone has an impression of the devil's son. However, if you suddenly asked him to say the name of the devil's son, or describe the appearance of the devil's son, it would be difficult for ordinary people to remember. Although Iceberg met Robin before, he just felt like he had seen it somewhere, but he really didn't think about the devil's son. Now because Luffy brought up the historical text, Iceberg thought of the devil's son, and then the appearance of the reward order vaguely appeared in his mind, and he realized that the woman on the Straw Hat Pirates was the devil's son. Yes, Nico Robin is my partner. We not only know the whereabouts of Pluton, but also know the whereabouts of Poseidon. So, just a design drawing of the Pluton battleship, do you think we will care? Luffy shrugged his shoulders, then looked at Frankie. Also, if your master's last wish is that you don't let the blueprint of the Pluton battleship leak out, you should destroy it directly instead of keeping it. Hearing this, Frankie suddenly burst into anger. That is the only relic master left them. However, Iceberg was deeply shocked. Destroy it, yes. If you don't want it to fall into the hands of others, isn't the best way to destroy this blueprint? As Tom's two direct disciples, both Iceberg and Frankie have always cherished this blueprint because it is the only relic of Master. As the saying goes, the authorities are obsessed, but the bystanders are clear. When Luffy pointed out the core of Tom's last wish, Iceberg suddenly discovered, such a simple truth, how did I understand? Master doesn't want the blueprints to be leaked, not because he wants us to keep them for a lifetime. I understand. Iceberg nodded seriously. He turned his head to look at Frankie. He is right, we should destroy that blueprint. As long as the blueprint disappears completely, then Master's last wish can be guaranteed to be fulfilled. Frankie's eyes widened. But, this is the only relic of Master. Iceberg stared at Frankie. I ask you, does Master want this Pluton warship to be built? Frankie thought for a while, then shook his head firmly. I don't want it. Then do you hope that you didn't stick to Master's last wish? Iceberg asked again. Of course not. Then tell me, what kind of method can the Master's last wish be completely kept? This. Hearing this, Frankie also realized the key to the problem. Destroy the only relic of the Master, and you can stick to the only relic of the Master. After pondering for a moment, Frankie slowly raised his head and looked at Iceberg. I know. I will destroy the design of the Pluton battleship. Then, he looked at Luffy. Your name is Luffy, let me introduce myself. My name is Frankie, and I am the second disciple of Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder. The ship you want will be built for you by me and my brother. Luffy smiled. Well, hello, Frankie. So, as the creator of this upcoming world's strongest warship, can I be on your ship? Frankie asked. Seeing Frankie's familiar look, Luffy laughed and said, oh, is this a condition for building a boat for me? Of course. The best warship I've built myself. If I can't ride it on the sea, then the power I built it will be reduced by half. It's not perfect, Frankie responded. Okay, I agree. About this matter, there is actually nothing to hesitate. Luffy heard the conversation between Iceberg and Frankie through observation hockey before. Although Iceberg wanted to take the opportunity to blackmail Luffy, Luffy had to admit that what Asiba said was not wrong. Since this battleship needs the best, then the functions of this ship must be particularly advanced and complex. If there is no shipbuilder who is very familiar with this ship on board, then even if this ship is for the Straw Hat Pirates can't use it well. And the Straw Hat Pirates really lack a shipbuilder right now. Luffy has indeed protected the Mary very well, but no one can guarantee that the Mary will not be damaged in future voyages. If you realize that there is a lack of a shipwright on board at that time, Luffy will definitely not be a qualified captain. As soon as Luffy agreed, Franky became excited. You agreed? Wow, I'm really happy this week. Super. Luffy looked at Iceberg with a confused face. What's the matter with him? Ah. Iceberg scratched his head in embarrassment. Don't mind me, my junior brother has this kind of virtue. These are all his oral habits, don't worry, he's fine here. Speaking, Iceberg pointed to his head with his finger. After receiving Iceberg's explanation, Luffy left speechless. Franky. Haha. The me over there is finally on board too. I'm very happy this week. Super. Vinsmoke Sanji. You pervert are too shameful. Nico Robin. Ahaha, look at Luffy over there. Brook. Luffy thought he was an idiot. Yo ho 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 ho. Usopp. Ha ha ha. After Franky regained his composure, he said to Luffy, then, Straw Hat, you will be my captain from now on. As for the material of the boat we are going to build, we will use the precious tree atom as the material. I just found out that there are two routes. During this period of time, one may be put up for auction, and the seller is preparing to wait for the price to rise. Is one enough? Luffy asked suspiciously. Franky nodded. Enough. But if there are two, the material will be more abundant, but I heard that the seller only intends to sell one. Sufficient. Thinking of this, Luffy thought of the Mary, and he said, if the new ship is big enough, can you design a berth for a ship? Ah, what do you mean? Franky obviously didn't understand the question Luffy wanted to ask. Luffy turned his gaze to Iceberg. It's my current ship, the Mary, and I'm thinking, if diving is needed, can the new ship be able to dive with the Mary 1 or 2? Luffy doesn't know the professional knowledge of shipbuilding, so he is very serious in asking the two people in front of him for advice. For a pirate group, it is normal to have two ships at the same time. However, Luffy thought of this method because he considered that the Mary could not be greatly modified, and it was impossible to transform it into a pirate ship capable of diving. Iceberg saw the melee, he thought about it for a while, and then said, theoretically, it is feasible, but I guess if it is designed like this, the new ship will have to be designed bigger, so at least 2 treasure trees will be needed. Adam's wood is gone, maybe not even enough. Luffy thought for a while, and then decided, okay, then buy the wood of the 2 treasure trees. Adam. If it is not enough, use other good materials to make up. After saying this, Franky showed a look of embarrassment. In terms of shipbuilding, no material in this world can compare to the precious tree atom. If other materials are used to make up for it, it will lead to inconsistent local firmness of the ship and affect the performance of the ship. Although there are materials that can do it, I am afraid that only Marine has the technology to make alloys. Iceberg also nodded and said, yes, the material of Marine's most advanced warship is an alloy material extracted through Vegapunk technology. Although it is not as good as Baoshu atom, the gap between the two has been greatly shrunk, but the main problem is, although we have the strongest shipbuilding technology, we can't make that kind of alloy, and Marine won't sell it to us. Is that so? Seeing that the two master shipbuilders were in a dilemma, Luffy also frowned. No matter what, it is impossible for him not to consider the Mary. Wait. Did you just say alloy? Suddenly, Luffy thought of something. He grabbed Franky's shoulder suddenly. Ah yes. Yes. Franky stared in astonishment. With Luffy. I have a solution. Alloy, right, there is a solution. Luffy was overjoyed, and hurriedly dragged the two of them away. Not long after, they returned to the Mary together. Wow. It's really a pervert to treat swimming trunks as casual clothes. Sanji circled around Franky, evaluating seriously. Usopp is different. He tapped Franky's arm joints excitedly. You are so iron, can you still move? Usopp, come and see, there is a small warehouse on his ass. Chopper shouted as if he had discovered a treasure. So, this is our new partner. Nami is speechless. It's just Luffy's decision, and she naturally won't object. Although everyone's impression of him is a surprise, but Franky is very happy. Haha, I will be your shipbuilder in the future, please take care of me. Speaking, Franky made a diagonal lunge, then brought the backs of his hands together, and raised them obliquely above his head at a 45-degree, super. The whole action and slogan are like flowing clouds and flowing water, done in one go. Luffy and Iceberg covered their faces at the same time. turning their heads to 10. Damn, we don't know this idiot, wow. However, Usopp and Chopper almost instantly turned up. The two imitated Fran's appearance at the same time, super. The other partners of the Straw Hat Pirates are also full of black lines. Good guy, this disease is a bit serious. The phenomenon of human-to-human transmission occurred just after we met, and it was directly one person infecting two people. After a while, Nami took the munch fruit from the room to the deck and handed it to Luffy. Here it is. And Frankie is looking at the introduction of munch fruit on the Devil Fruit illustrated book. It can turn swallowed things into a part of the body, and can also synthesize new things. After seeing this introduction, Frankie was shocked. Doesn't that mean, if I swallow the treasure tree atom, and then swallow steel, wouldn't it be possible to synthesize new ones? Atom alloy. Why, hearing this, Luffy was taken aback. Yeah. Since anything can be fused in theory, of course treasure tree atom can too. Luffy looks at Frankie in surprise. This guy is a shipbuilder, and his thinking on materials is farther than I thought. Luffy originally planned to let Frankie use the ability of munch fruit to create an alloy that can make up for the lack of atom treasure tree. But now the idea put forward by Frankie is to directly fuse the treasure tree atom with steel. Wouldn't it be possible to obtain a new type of product that extracts the advantages of treasure tree atom and steel? Alloy, and because the new alloy will be synthesized by atom treasure tree and steel, its output will definitely exceed the amount of atom treasure tree alone. In this way, the newly synthesized materials must be stable enough. At this time, Zoro nodded. I think this idea is okay. Yes. The extra materials can also strengthen the Mary, killing two birds with one stone. Usopp also very much agrees with this idea. Luffy thought for a while, then said, that's good. When the materials of Baoshu atom are available, let's use 1% to experiment first. How many kinds of strong materials can be fused together? You can also do 3-in-1, 4-in-1, and do some comparative tests. Let's see how the effects and strengths of various alloys are. What a smart way. Hearing this, Frankie's eyes lit up too. If there is really a better material than Baoshu atom, then for a shipbuilder like him, it is definitely the most beautiful thing in the world. Thinking of this, he picked up the munch fruit without hesitation. Swallow it in one bite. Goldie Roger. Using the treasure tree atom to make alloys. I am so obedient. If this is successful, how strong is the ship? Shiki. Back then, ordinary cannonballs didn't respond to your ship. If they made this treasure tree alloy, and then it was built by the two best shipbuilders in the world, wouldn't it be invincible? Vegapunk. It's a pity that I don't have the material of Baoshu atom. Otherwise I would like to try the alloy synthesized by Baoshu atom. Wapol. Using munch fruit to make alloys, that's a good idea. I'll try it later. Marshall D. Teach. That's great. I just don't have a formal pirate ship yet. If you make an alloy better than steel, sell it to me, and the price is good. Wapol. Get out. Do you think I'm stupid? Although Wapol doesn't know why Blackbeard Teach is eyeing him, but he knows how he fell into the hands of Blackbeard Teach, and he will definitely end badly. During the period after that, the Straw Hat Pirates temporarily lived in the capital of Seven Waters. The purchase of treasure tree atom went smoothly, and finally spent a total of 500 million Baileys to buy all the wood of the two treasure tree atoms. Frankie got 1% off one of them, and then started the road of alchemy. Luffy relies on everyone to brainstorm, and if there is nothing to do, interrogate a few people from CP9. For example, store everyone's farts with Weibai, and then bet on the captive's nose. Another example is that Buggy splits and controls 100 feathers to tickle them. There is also a specially made spherical bamboo basket, throwing captives into it. Nami activates the slippery fruit ability, making the captives inside passively spin like a little hamster spinning a ball. In short, I used a lot of those that got on the table and those that didn't. However, CP9 is worthy of being an agent who has been trained since he was a child, and he didn't say a single word about the training method of Marine 6 styles. Carrera's shipyard. New ships have already started construction. The material is a super alloy made of 11 materials such as Baoshu atom, black iron ore, diamond ore and rubber. The properties of the new super alloy not only reach the firmness comparable to diamonds, but also have excellent perfect density and the toughness of rubber, etc. You mean, these CP9 will only unswervingly obey the orders of their chiefs? Luffy looked at Iceberg. When chatting with him just now, Luffy suddenly heard an important meaning from his words. Iceberg shrugged his shoulders. Yeah. It's like they were undercover by my side. From the beginning, they learned to be handymen who didn't know anything, and gradually became the best foreman. Think about them. How did you live in the past 5 years? How did you live? Luffy asked suspiciously. They really put themselves into the identity of the shipbuilder. Khalifa and Bluno really took the identity of the occult and the owner of the bar. Aside from the fact that Khalifa is an undercover agent, she has been by my side for 5 years and has really done the work that secret arts can do well. And Bluno is well known in the entire capital of Seven Waters. Think about how scary these people are. As long as the task is issued, they will execute it unswervingly. Even if it is an unknown field, they will do their best to do it well. Iceberg said seriously. That's it. Hearing this, Luffy rubbed his chin. He seems to have suddenly found a way to pry open the mouths of those CP9s. So, Luffy inquired, who is their chief, sir? Iceberg's expression changed immediately when he heard the CP9 chief. That is hatred from the depths of the soul. Then, he told Luffy about the past 20 years ago. How Tom, the world's #1 shipbuilder, got an amnesty by building sea trains, and then how Spandam used Frankie's battleship to frame Frankie and Tom in order to get the Pluton blueprints, and how Spandam stomped on Tom's head. How did Frankie the gunbutt smash the bridge of Spandam's nose, and so on. All about it. After listening, Luffy was shocked. Unexpectedly, Tom was sentenced to death for building a boat for Roger. This crime is too nonsense. When Tom built the ship for Roger, Roger was not the One Piece. Then after Roger was executed, Tom was convicted for this. Luffy showed an unbelievable expression, and laughed loudly. This is simply the most ridiculous name in the world. Gold D. Roger. Ah, Tom was betrayed and executed for building a ship for me horse riding. Which bastard gave the crime? When seeing this scene, Roger was blown away. He never expected to kill Tom because he asked Tom to build a ship. Shiki. This has to be Sengoku. 80% of it is his dog. Otherwise, he will be punished and deduct so many lifespans. Sengoku. F*ku. That's an order from the government of the world, and it should be the crime conveyed by CP5 at that time. What does it have to do with me? As soon as Shiki wanted to pour dirty water on him, Sengoku couldn't sit still. Shiki. Got it. It turned out that those 5 old bastards did it. Jihahahaha. Sengoku. F*k, you bastard. Normally speaking, with Sengoku's IQ, he would definitely not be fooled by such a low level. But because what Shiki just said was sudden, and it hurt Sengoku's age-sore spot, Sengoku was instantly enraged, and was tricked by Shiki. Aizenbaran vs. Nashao Langsheng. The ship he built has achieved the reputation of a heinous big pirate. Shouldn't he deserve to die? Gold D. Roger. Fart. If Admiral in Marine Rebels, shouldn't the person who paid this Marine Admiral's salary also deserve to die? Shouldn't the builder of the warship that Marine Admiral was on also deserve to die? Sengoku. Roger. Don't fart, saying that Marine Admiral rebelled. You don't have a brain. If there is a Marine Admiral rebellion, I will write Sengoku's name upside down. Shiki. Don't say those useless things, you just say that Roger's questioning is right. Crane. How can pirates and Marines be confused? Edward Newgate. Gu la 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 la. Treat it differently, right? Anyway, the crime was decided by the government of the world, so he can say whatever he wants, right? It's ugly. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fu Furfur. Where is this? If you talk about the ugly things of the world government, I can say it for a week without stopping. Marcus Majan. Da Flamingo, don't get carried away. Don Quixote da Flamingo. Fu Furfur. Seeing that 5 elders specifically reminded him, Da Flamingo stopped talking. After all, even though he has obtained the blood succession boundary, Lin Dun, extension, he is still far from being invincible. Now that the other party, 5 elders, has spoken, let's do him a favor. Iceberg said. Yes, this crime is really outrageous, but even so, because the world government needs our master to build a sea train, so he delayed his execution and gave him time to build a sea train. I didn't expect that in the end he was still killed by the world government using despicable means. This Spandam is damned. The more Luffy thinks about this, the angrier he gets. It's fine if he's just a passerby, but now that he has accepted Frankie as a partner, this matter is not a matter for outsiders. What's more, he really needs to talk to the chief of CP9. Iceberg continued. After that incident, the world government was very satisfied with Spandam's work style, and it didn't take long to promote him to the chief of CP9. After he grasped the CP9 card in his hand, he will do things for the world government. It's even easier to do dirty things. After learning about this past, Luffy went to Frankie again and told him something. Then, Luffy returns to the Mary and calls Usopp. In the evening, The three of them took the C train to Eni's lobby and arrived at Eni's lobby smoothly. When the Eni's lobby personnel on the train finished getting off, a figure quietly slipped down. Luffy, do you really not plan to tell other partners about this matter? Usopp is carrying his small bag, nervously using observation haki to sense the surroundings. Yes, only the three of us know about it. Otherwise, if someone slips up, it will be very troublesome. Especially Sanji, when he sees a woman who can't walk, as long as he knows, the secret is. Luffy nodded, then waved his hand, no one here. Under the cover of night, the three of them quickly walked through the main island of Eni's lobby. There are a lot of guards on this island, but now it's the rest time, and Luffy's super observation haki made it easy for them to reach the referee. There are very few guards in the referee, and the three of them walked over almost swaggering. When they arrived at the judicial tower, the office of CP9, the drawbridge had already been closed. There is a bottomless ocean abyss between the court and the judicial tower. Hold on to me. Luffy held one in each hand, and then his legs elongated at a whiz, turning into a big bamboo pole with a height of nearly 100 meters. Then he took a step forward, and easily stepped onto the ground of Tongfa Pagoda. However, the architectural structure of the judiciary tower really stunned the three of them. It is intricate and maze-like. And Luffy discovered one thing: when the number of barrier layers of the wall reaches a certain number, it will greatly affect the perception of observation haki. However, if you think about it carefully, it seems that this is indeed the case. The principle of observation haki is to make people's five senses more acute, and can detect the breath and emotional changes of surrounding creatures. After so many layers of walls are separated, the breath and emotional changes of creatures will be weakened layer by layer, which will naturally affect observation haki. In Spandam's office, it's really good. These two devil fruits can just be used as rewards for those guys in Shudu after completing the task. When the time comes, he will. You will definitely be grateful, and work harder for me, ha ha ha. Spandam held a devil fruit in one hand and said triumphantly. Crunch, the door is pushed open. Spandam looked up subconsciously. Who are these three people? Click. Before he could react, Luffy's conqueror's haki directly stunned him. Quick, drag away. Luffy waved forward. Usopp and Frankie rushed up. Here are two devil fruits. Usopp is not too polite, just grabbed it and stuffed it into a small satchel. Afterwards, the three of them took the Spandam to the place where the sea train stopped, and took out the sea blimp prepared in advance from the storage room of the last carriage. After going up, head straight towards the capital of Seven Waters. After returning to the water capital, the Japanese brought Spandam back to a secret bridge hole that only Frankie knew. A basin of water was poured on it, and Spandam was woken up. He opened his eyes leisurely, and suddenly realized that he was no longer in the office, but in front of him was a strange and dirty place, and three strangers were looking at him indifferently. He suddenly became furious. Asshole! Do you know who I am? I am. Snapped. A crisp sound. Okay, if we don't know who you are, we won't tie you up. Frankie slapped Spandam back what he wanted to say. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Frankie. Oh no, my previous name was Carter Frame. Recalling that Spandam didn't know the name Frankie at all, Frankie immediately reported his previous name. Carter Frame. At first he was taken aback, but then he suddenly remembered who the name was. What? You are Carter Frame. Although it has been more than 20 years, even if I forget my gender, Spandam will not forget this name. It was this guy's slammed gun butt hit over 20 years ago that deformed his face so badly that he had to wear a cross-leather mask over his face. Damn. You didn't die. Damn. I knew you weren't dead. Damn. Lousy has been looking for you for so many years. Seeing Frankie surprisingly still alive, Spandam immediately roared angrily. Coincidentally, I have been waiting for this day for so many years. Thinking of Spandam framing Tom and causing Tom's tragic death, Frankie starts from his heart. He went up and gave Spandam a few big fights, and the slap dazzled him, and the 7 orifices were full of smoke and purple clouds. Luffy signaled Frankie to wait a moment. It's important to get down to business. Spandam has eaten a few big fights, and now he is really old. Luffy looked at Usopp. Get something, let's do it. Good. Usopp took off the small shoulder bag he was carrying and put it on the table, then reached in. Spandam sees this posture. This is about to execute. He was so scared that he hurriedly yelled in horror. Hey! I am the chief of CP9, you can't kill me. And you will. You are committing a crime. You are going against the government of the world. Ding. Enter the prize-winning answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question. What kind of shellfish did Red Luffy ask Usopp to bring out? A. Yanbei. B. Windshell. C. Bay. D. Shock shell. E. Yinbei. Shiki. It's time to answer the question again. Captain Rocks, why don't you answer the question? Rocks D. Zebek. You stay away from me, Shiki. Oh, although I answered the last question correctly, I still have to take it easy on this one. Otherwise I will get killed if I accidentally answer it wrong. I am already 36 years old now. If I am deducted for 11 months and 28 days, I will become 37 years old. Hearing Shiki's strange yin and yang, Sengoku suddenly felt his lungs convulse. Can't bear it, can't bear it. Sengoku, bastard. Don't get carried away. I was able to suppress you with Garp 20 years ago, and I can do the same now. Shiki. Tisk tisk tisk, but the problem is, now I'm not the only one in naval headquarters, jihahahaha. Standing on the deck of the Moby Dick, Shiki's mouth is full of smug smile. It feels so good to be resurrected. Especially resurrecting in the state of its heyday, it feels even better. The most important thing is that now he has a chance to get rid of his shame. Kid Eustace. I choose A. Looking at the situation, it is obvious that Spandam must be tortured. Yanbei is the most suitable, roast him to death with fire. Basil Hawkins. It makes sense, it should be torture, but I think the impact shell is more appropriate. I choose D. Sengoku. Aokiji, don't be dumbfounded. I don't think there are many questions left. If you can answer a question, it's a question. Hurry up. Gold D. Roger. Sengoku is trying to push people around again, it's really bad. Aokiji. Let me choose D2. In fact, Aokiji didn't want to choose at first. He felt that the 20% probability is still quite difficult to guess, isn't it? But Sengoku pointed it out, so Aokiji had no choice but to choose. There are advantages to being wrong. At least you don't have to listen to Sengoku's reminders for the next question. Sengoku. Sakazuki, Paluzalino, Cake, don't waste your chance to answer the questions. Usopp. Pick C. Sakazuki. I choose C2. Seeing one of the protagonists in the video appeared, Sakazuki felt that it would be right to follow him. Charlotte Linlin. Pick C. This kid chose C, he's sure he knows what he's used to relying on. Like Sakazuki, Charlotte Linlin bet her luck on Usopp. Paluzalino. Hey, let me choose one, let me see. Jack. Pick a. Quinn. I choose a 2. This time I actually chose the same as the idiot Jack, I'm really a dick. Monkey D. Luffy. I choose D, friends also choose. Don't waste the opportunity to answer the question. Listening to Luffy's persuasion, of the Straw Hat Pirates has black lines on their foreheads. Is this called not to waste the opportunity to answer questions? This is clearly a waste of life. Roronoa Zoro, then I choose E. Can they also use torture? Paluzalino. Isn't Yinbei torturing people with sound? It makes sense. The old man also chooses E. Jewelry Bonnie. Choose E. Hey, swordsman, I chose it with you. If I make a mistake, I will settle accounts with you. Roronoa Zoro. What an unreasonable woman. Countdown to answer questions. 3, 2, 1, 0. With the end of the countdown to answering the questions, the red-framed video was played again. Usopp reaches out and molds in the satchel. He took out several shells, all of which look the same. Hey. What do you want to do? Looking at Luffy and the 3 of them holding shells and surrounding them, Spandam panicked. Listen, as long as you are obedient, we will let you go afterward. Luffy is telling lies openly and above board. Of course, this lie is still very useful for people like Spandam who are greedy for life and afraid of death. As if hearing a life-saving straw, Spandam hurriedly asked nervously, Really? As long as I obediently do what you say, are you really willing to let me go? Of course. Luffy nodded very seriously. What about him? Can he let me go? Spandam looks at Frankie. Frankie snorted coldly. Of course I won't let you go. But if my captain says to let you go, there's nothing I can do. Luffy continued. Listen up. I want you to give a few people in CP9 a new mission according to my intention. What? This is impossible. Upon hearing this, Spandam hastily shouted that it was impossible. Luffy didn't argue anything, but gave up the position to Zuiki, Ri. Frankie rubbed his fists together, and gave Spandam a punch. Luffy asks, Is it possible now? Spandam hastily cried and shouted, I can do it. Subsequently, Luffy began to teach Spandam how to speak commands, and they also simulated a variety of possible dialogues, allowing Spandam to practice and demonstrate again and again. Kid Eustace. So, what shell did he pull out? After watching it for a long time, Only Luffy and the others are practicing speaking, just like acting in a melodrama. Usopp changed a shell for a while and did nothing. Jack. Yeah. I took it for a long time, but it didn't tell me what kind of shell it was. What was it shaking like? Peluzalino. Didn't you plan to execute the sentence? Didn't you get punched a few times? Crane. Don't worry, in the future, it will definitely be announced. The next day, the Straw Hat Pirates locked the CP9 dead man in the warehouse. Because they are not within the sight range of the Straw Hat Pirates, even Kaku and Khalifa, who are not devil fruit capable, were tied from top to bottom with iron cables, and tied into 2 snakes, lying on the ground. Damn. These guys really don't give us a chance. Lying on the ground on his back, Khalifa gritted his teeth and said, Don't think about it, we can't escape. They are not ordinary pirates, how could they relax their vigilance against us just because we are not capable? Kaku was also tied up into rice dumplings, horizontally on the other side. And Bluno and Lu Chi were soaked in seawater wooden barrel shackles in cages. Bluno looked at Lu Chi next door, and said helplessly, These guys actually use this method to limit the abilities, it's really hateful. But just as his voice fell, Kacha, his wooden barrel actually cracked. At this moment, other kind eyes shot over at once. They looked at the wall of the wooden barrel where Bluno was. There was a crack that seemed to be forced out by Bluno's body. There is a way. Seeing this scene, Lu Chi suddenly regained his energy, and he shouted in a low voice, Kaku, Khalifa, move over quickly and see if there is any way to knock down his wooden barrel. Good. Kaku and Khalifa naturally understand that this is their only chance. Both of them took a lot of effort to move themselves to the side of Bluno's barrel. If they are under normal conditions, they must remember Tempest Kick to destroy the barrel. But now they are tied up with big iron chains, and they have been hungry for 2 or 3 days, so they can't destroy the barrel at all. It seems that everything is in the calculation of the Straw Hat Pirates. The 2 of them worked together with the little strength left, tried many times, and finally caught the strength of the wall and knocked down the wooden barrel. The seawater in the wooden barrel flows out slowly towards the crevice. As the seawater continues to decrease, Bluno is obviously getting more vitality. When the seawater was almost exhausted, Bluno pushed the barrel open. Afterwards, he also tore up the wooden barrel on the road platform. Lucci regained his strength and broke the chains of Kaku and Khalifa. He looks at Bluno. Get out of here first. Good. Open the door at the bottom of the boat. Bluno didn't choose to open the door to leave from the side, because he knew that those guys on the ship were very strong at this time. If they were discovered, they might not be able to escape. If you choose to open the door from the bottom of the boat, even though you will fall directly into the sea, but with Khalifa and Kaku, he and Lu Chi will not be drowned. Not long, from a certain port, 4 people got out of the water. Damn it. Since I started the mission, when have I been in such a mess? Those guys, you must not let them go easily. Lu Chi took a deep breath, feeling extremely aggrieved. That day, the scene where Luffy randomly stomped him on the ground like a joke, suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Shame. Too shameful. The 4 of them went back to the warehouse of Bluno Bar, then took out a phone bug and dialed the signal of Spandam. Puff puff puff. In the underground bridge hole, in front of Spandam, a phone bug rang. This phone bug is specially used by Spandam to answer the calls of CP9 people. And his master, Spandam, is unconscious beside him at this time. Luffy connected to the phone bug, put a sound shell next to it. Hello. The voice of Spandam comes from Barry, exactly the same. I only heard Lu Chi's voice from the other end of the phone. Sir, something happened. Our identities have been found out, and now everything is about to be suspended. Luffy changed another sound shell, and Spandam's angry voice came from inside. What? Are you guys eating shit? What's going on? A lot of scenarios and possibilities have been simulated yesterday, so Luffy recorded a lot. When this scene appeared, moviegoers suddenly understood. Charlotte Linlin. Nani. Isn't this what Red Luffy taught that leather-faced man to say yesterday? Why did it come out of the shell? Charlotte Perisparrow. Mom, that's a tone shell. Charlotte Linlin. Ah, bastard. That old lady gave the wrong answer. Kid Eustace. Damn it. No wonder Usopp was holding shells by the side when they were demonstrating yesterday. It turned out to be recording. Sakazuki. Damn. Then I got the wrong answer. Aokiji. I was wrong too. Peluzalino. But I got the answer right. Woo. What a surprise, so scary. Monkey D. Luffy. Zoro, you got it right. Usopp. Ah. I was wrong. Jewelry Polly. Haha. I followed the swordsman to choose, and I chose the right one. That's great, swordsman. I won't settle accounts with you. Roronoa Zoro. You stupid woman. Ding. Anyone who answers wrongly in this prize quiz will be punished. Kid Eustace, deprived of the right to answer questions in the next round, deducting 4 months and 19 days of life. Basil Hawkins, deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 5 months of life. Aokiji, the right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and 7 months and 7 days of life will be deducted. Sakazuki, the right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted for 2 months and 3 days. Usopp, deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 6 months and 21 days of life. Aokiji. Hey. Aokiji is very depressed. Sure enough, as he expected, he was still killed. This damn movie viewing is over soon. Otherwise, Sengoku is always urging us to answer the questions. Ding. The top 3 correct answers in this quiz are Roronoa Zoro, Paluzolino, and Jewelry Polly. Congratulations to the 3. Get rewards. Congratulations Roronoa Zoro, reward Zanpakuto Nozarashi. Congratulations to Paluzolino, reward Blood Succession Boundary, Ice Escape. Congratulations to Jewelry Polly, and reward Elf Angel Burning Ghost Killer. Ding. Because Zanpakuto Nozarashi, reward Blood Succession Boundary, Ice Escape, Spirit Angel Scorching Killing Ghost or magical things from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Zanpakuto Nozarashi remarks. Nozarashi is a weapon built from its own soul, and users can gain power through spiritual dialogue with it. It is a direct attack type Zanpakuto, with super powerful combat power. The upper limit is currently unknown. Roronoa Zoro. It's a knife. That's great. Beasta. The rewards of the viewing system are all related to the rewardee's own situation. For a swordsman like him, I'm afraid this reward is not easy. Yizang. The reward for a swordsman is a sword. What's so simple? Dracule Mihawk. It's really not easy, because the upper limit of this knife's combat power is currently unknown. This shows that in the original world of this knife has gone through countless battle, but still haven't measured its limit. Kira. It's so strong. Vinsmoke Sanji, Green Algae Head, you're making a big splash. Roronoa Zoro. It would be nice if it was a knife, very nice. I can already feel the sound of it. With the distribution of rewards, Zoro has begun to hear the call from the sword spirit in his soul. Blood Succession Boundary, Ice Escape, remarks. The 5 basic escape techniques are Water Style, Fire Style, Earth Style, Wind Style, Lightning Style. The fusion of Water Style and Wind Style will produce Ice Escape. Sakazuki. Ice Escape. Why do you guys reward Ice Escape? Shouldn't this be a suitable reward for Aokiji? Paluzolino. Woo. Then he must have that kind of luck, but having said that, I found that this Ice Escape is very suitable for me. In fact, Paluzolino was also very confused when he heard the reward of Ice Escape just now. Isn't this special mother with Aokiji's name written on it? How did it get into my hands? If you give it to me, you should give it some kind of light escape or flash escape, right? How did you get an Ice Escape? But when the information of Ice Escape appeared in his mind, Paluzolino realized that this is simply an escape technique tailored for him. Not only can Ice Escape be used as its attack method, but the most important thing is that ice can reflect light. With ice done in hand, he can create a large frozen formation, various frozen mirrors, etc. in an instant. With his sparkling fruit ability, he can shoot anywhere in the frozen formation directly through reflection, and he can also reach any position in the frozen formation in an instant. Ridiculously strong. Spirit Angel Scorching Ghost remarks. Angel of the 5th Elf. When it appears, it is a huge battle axe with flames. It is powerful and can cause both physical and flame damage to the enemy. Different from the bulky appearance, it can release the flame blade for agile attacks, and the cut objects will be burned by the flames. It can be transformed into the form of Burning Ghost Killer Cannon, which is a long-range attack form, has super destructive and penetrating power. After recognizing the owner will have the regeneration ability like a phoenix. Even if he is seriously injured, he will be able to recover as before, and the wound will have flames to heal the wound. Really? After seeing the comment introduction of Burning Ghosts, all the movie viewers couldn't help but utter a complaint. This is a powerful flame battle axe with dual physical and fire damage. This is understandable. Into the form of a cannon, it has super destructive power and penetrating power. That's acceptable too, but this thing actually has the ability to regenerate like a phoenix. And the way of self-healing is to emit flames like a phoenix, and then heal the wound. More importantly, this thing is not cursed by seawater. Marco's devil fruit in phoenix form is the younger brother by comparison. Paluzolino. Woo. Why don't you give me this reward? Kuzan. What, you still want to grab it with a big axe? Peluzalino. With such a good ability, are you still commenting on a big axe? Kid Eustace. This reward is too strong. Basil Hawkins. The ranking of supernovas is going to change a lot. Eurogue. Those of us who didn't get rewards will be at the bottom. Marco. Ah, this reward is too much. Vista. Ha ha ha. Marco, this is an advanced version of your devil fruit. Edward Newgate. Goo. Jewelry Bonnie, come be my daughter. Jewelry Bonnie. Crazy. Goldie Roger, PFFT. Haha. The little girl scolds well. Let this old man want to be someone else's father all day long. At this time, as the rewards are distributed, the frozen frame in the red frame video continues to play. Facing Spandam's angry reprimand, Lu Chi said in a deep voice, "We met Nico Robin, and we planned to capture her secretly, but we didn't expect that she has now joined a group of pirates called the Straw Hat Pirates. The strength of those guys very strong, even I am no match." Speaking of which, Lu Chi's heart is dense and nestled Ed. And Luffy is smiling, because the script has obviously started to develop in the direction he wanted. The following scripts have been recorded. He takes another tone shell from Usopp and plays it. Spandam's voice appears. What? You mean the Straw Hat Pirates? Yeah, is there any problem? Lu Chi wondered. Spandam's voice. This pirate group killed the crocodile of the 7 warlords of the sea. Now the world government has regarded them as a thorn in the side. The above analysis shows that this fire pirate group may become a new world in the near future. Very difficult forces. Listen, since you have met them, find a way to go undercover among them. Such a pirate group, it is impossible not to recruit people. Undercover. Hearing this, Lu Chi's face is indeed a bit ugly. If he hadn't met the Straw Hat Pirates before, then he would definitely continue this mission without hesitation. But now, he thought for a while, then said, actually, we were caught by them before. They wanted to ask us about the cultivation method of marine 6 styles. Now we took advantage of a very good opportunity and escaped by relying on Blueno's door fruit ability. Judging from the current situation, it's not impossible for me to be an undercover agent, but if we want to gain their trust, the marine 6 styles training method will definitely be lost. Are you a pig? Just give them the training methods of the 6th Marine Master. Is that something that you can learn after giving it? Besides, there are more Marines who know marine 6 styles. Even if you don't tell them, don't they catch other Marines? It's really a bunch of pig brains. Listen carefully, I now officially give you an order to undercover the Straw Hat Pirates. You will go undercover for me at all costs. If the undercover is successful, don't do anything to arouse their suspicion, just give me a safe place to stay on their boat. You just need to monitor his every move, and you don't need to report. When this force becomes famous in New World, then I will issue a report on the eradication of the Straw Hat Pirates in the newspaper in the name of my CP9 chief. Notice, as long as you see that it is sent in my name, find an opportunity to contact me secretly. Other circumstances, all stand still. Spandam's voice is almost roaring. Yes, I got it. Because he messed up the last mission just now. Lu Chi is also in the wrong now, and this is the order of the chief after all, he can't refute it. At this time, Spandam's voice sounded again. That's right. Let Blueno take today's sea train back to Eni's lobby alone. His fruit ability will be very useful for the next mission. Lu Chi, Kaku and Khalifa, you 3 a mission to undercover the Straw Hat Pirates. Yes. The voice of Spandam said again. Okay, from now on, the mission will officially start. After hanging up this call, don't contact me in any other way until you see the notice I posted in the newspaper. Think of yourself as a pirate, a complete pirate. After speaking, the voice from the phone bug hangs up. In the bar warehouse, the 4 of CP9 look at each other. What should we do now? Khalifa was the first to break the silence. Do as the officer says, Lu Chi said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Khalifa shook his head. No, I mean, how do we go undercover to the Straw Hat Pirates? Lu Chi thought for a while, and suddenly frowned. It's not easy, but I have to try. Then, he looked at Blueno. You go to the train station first. We need to make up some things for later, if people from the Straw Hat Pirates see that we are with you. I can't tell. Hearing this, Blueno nodded. Okay, then everyone take care. Take care. Blueno nodded from the other 3. After parting ways, Blueno went to the train station. There is a sea train from the capital of 7 waters to Eni's lobby every day, but because Eni's lobby is a special place, only the staff of Eni's lobby will take this train every day. Blueno got on the train, and there is no doubt that it is another empty train compartment. At this time, a person suddenly appeared at the door of this carriage. The moment Bluno raised his head, his eyes widened suddenly. What, it's you? As soon as he finished speaking, a huge hand grabbed him instantly, and then he lost consciousness. When he opened his eyes again, he was already in the basement of the city hall. This is where, Bluno looked around, looking at the strange environment around him. Suddenly, he looked at his hands again and exclaimed, "Are these seastone handcuffs?" "Yeah. I didn't expect the black market to sell this stuff, so I just sold some. I just found out that this thing is much easier to use than seawater wooden barrels," Luffy said with a smile while holding a seastone handcuff. Ha! Seeing Luffy playing with seastone handcuffs, Bluno was shocked again. He shouted, "No! Aren't you demon fruit power? How can you hold a seastone like this?" This one, Luffy took a look at the seastone handcuffs, and said with a faint smile, "This can indeed restrain the power of devil fruit, and it will also make people with abilities feel weak, but it will not make people lose their ability to move completely. But the problem is, even if it's like what you said, it will still be very uncomfortable for the capable person to touch the seastone." Seeing Luffy laughing and laughing while holding the seastone handcuffs, Bluno can't understand. Is this person stupid? Luffy shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, "Oh, I'm getting used to this feeling, it's very interesting." Monkey D. Luffy. Ah, over there, I'm actually using the side effects of seastone, is this okay? Kaido. The restraining effect of seastone on capable users will indeed produce tolerance. If you can endure the weakness and discomfort that seastone brings to yourself, and try to adapt to this feeling, you can indeed in the long-term practice, the seastone's self-restraint effect will be weakened. Hanayabao. Is that so? No wonder those capable people in the prison were as motionless as dead dogs when they first came in. After being locked up for a long time, they can walk with seastone handcuffs. Magellan. It's just that the body has developed resistance to seastone, but the seal effect of devil fruit is impossible to loosen. But it's all passive, the effect is very general, at most you can walk, and the red Luffy in the video screen, this kind of active cultivation is different. Kaido. Yes, active cultivation will make you stronger. In this area, Kaido has the right to speak. Adaptation, Bluno is so stupid. He is an ability user. CP9 department also has seastone handcuffs. Of course he knows what it feels like for an ability user to wear seastone handcuffs. It is his current weak condition, an uncomfortable one. Ah. What is this place? At this time, a thin man next to him also woke up. Bluno turned his head and looked over, suddenly confused. "Nero the Sea Weasel, why are you, a rookie from CP9, here?" Sea Weasel Nero said bitterly, "I came to the water today to do business, but when I went back, I ran into them and saw them taking you, so I was also arrested." "It's okay, since you two know each other, let's just be here as a companion," Luffy chuckled. Then, he said to Usopp next to him, "I explained to them, don't let accidents happen." Usopp patted his chest. "Okay, leave it to me." Luffy is out of the room. Iceberg and Frankie are talking outside. Seeing Luffy come out, they greeted them. Iceberg said, "This is the abandoned cell under the city hall. It used to be used to lock up prisoners. Now it is only guarded by a deaf-mute old man. Don't worry, they are locked in. Here, nothing will happen." Luffy nodded. "Okay, that's fine. Just in case, I will take the keys of the seastone handcuffs and the keys of the iron chains on them. This should completely." "There is no problem." At this time, Usopp inside shouted, "Luffy, come and see, is this okay?" The three of them went in together when they heard the shout. "I saw that the seastone handcuffs and seastone shackles are in place, and there are also shackles with large steel chains to tie them to the wall, so they are safe." Hey, I'm not a capable person, so there's no need to put such heavy seastone handcuffs and shackles on me, right? Nero said wryly. Luffy curled her lips. "Stop talking nonsense. I have already brought all the belts, so I won't take them off." "Wait. I don't understand one thing." Seeing that Luffy and others are leaving, Bluno suddenly shouted. "What's the matter? Since your three companions are about to become cleaners of the Straw Hat Pirates, I can answer your three questions. If you don't understand anything, just ask." Luffy stopped and looked back at Bluno. "Cleaner, what do you mean?" Bluno suddenly thought of the order given by the CP9 officer before. He suddenly understood what was happening, and said in shock, "What? Could it be that you forced him to give the order from the officer?" Luffy spread out his hands. "It's almost. Anyway, it's what I mean." Hearing this, and thinking about his current situation, Bluno has no doubts about Luffy's words. "Damn Spandam. What a soft bone. Probably guessed the process," Bluno said angrily. He looked at Luffy again. "What did you mean when you said that my partner will be the cleaner on your boat? They won't be in danger, right?" "This is the second question. I originally wanted to learn about the cultivation method of Marine 6 styles from your mouth through your chief, but I suddenly thought that the new ship we bought was more than. The level is big, and someone will definitely need to clean it up, so I gave you an undercover order. After all, you are unswervingly executing the orders of your superiors, so if you don't make good use of hardworking coolies, it's a waste of money. Hearing what Luffy said, Blueno suddenly had an incredible expression on his face. Using CP9 as a cleaner did my ears hallucinate. Why would someone in this world have such a weird idea? And actually did it. Blueno thinks either he is crazy, or the world is crazy, day. After calming down, Blueno asked again, then why only the 3 of them and not me? Luffy grinned slightly. This question is actually not difficult to guess, right? You are a door fruit ability user. If I don't pay attention and slip away, I really can't help it. The 3 of them. It's different. 2 non-capable people, 1 zone Shalwamao capable person. The ability background is very clear, and there will be no mods. Okay, you and this newcomer can play here. After we circle the Grand Line for a week, there will be no need for cleaners, and you should be released by then. Already, come on. Luffy led people out of the cell. In the big cell, only Blueno and Nero are left. Look at me, I look at you. Nami. So. The CP9 over there is going to be the cleaner of our Straw Hat Pirates. Skulikmanip. Ah, blah, blah. Use CP9 as a cleaner. The red Luffy over there is too good at playing. Trafalgar Law. Is this something you can play or not now that you have learned this trick? Do you dare to play like this? Jewelry Polly. Without strong strength and self-confidence, even if CP9 offered to come to your door, you wouldn't dare to accept it. Usopp. For us, not only is Luffy too strong, but even I can easily deal with CP9s like Kaku, so Luffy dares to play like this. Nico Robin. Yes, we over there have not had any life and death feud with CP9, otherwise, Red Luffy would have killed them instead of using them. Frankie. That's right. We have experienced the Battle of Water City and Enies Lobby here, and our grievances with CP9 are too strong. But there. Even I only have a relationship with Spandam Hate, there is no intersection with these CP9s before. Vinsmoke Sanji. The trouble now is CP9 over there, right? They found a way to take the initiative to send them to our door to be our cleaners. Nami. Ahaha, yeah, let's see how they perform. The capital of 7 waters, the sun is in a barren port. What are you doing? Why did you bring me here? Didn't you agree that as long as I cooperate with you, you will let me go? Spandam was tied into a rice dumpling and tied to a big rock. At this time, Kikong was so frightened that she shed tears. Luffy picked his nostrils, frowned and said, really, did I say so? Spandam hurriedly shouted desperately, I said it. I said it. You said it under the bridge hole. Brother, you can't take your word for it. Oh, Luffy rubbed his chin, as if remembering, then he looked at Spandam, said with a heavy face, then it seems I'm going to break my promise. Ah, hearing this, Spandam's eyeballs almost popped out. He shouted in shock, no, 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 don't be joking. How can a strong man like you break your promise? Please, just treat me as your fart. Let me go, please. Even though Spandam was tied horizontally on the ground, he still kowtowed as hard as he could at this moment, madly wanting to beg for mercy. Ghost Spider. I also remember that he said before that as long as Spandam cooperates, he will release Spandam. Now he is so shameless that he is going to break his promise. Sakazuki. From the moment he became a pirate, he was already a heinous guy. This is the face of a pirate. Sora. Just let the world see what kind of virtuous things pirates are. Gold D. Roger. Sora, how did you manage to put on a face without knowing it? Shiki. If he had self-knowledge, he wouldn't be able to say such a thing, ha 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 ha. Edward Newgate. Get it right. The red Luffy over there will never kidnap others morally, and of course others should not try to kidnap him with morality. Red Luffy only depends on what he thinks is right or wrong, and he needs to be judged. You idiots Marines so-called morality, to restrain. Charlotte Linlin. These guys in the world government are not stupid. They just want to use the so-called morality to create a shackle, so that it is beneficial to the rule of the world government. Kaido. Haha. Linlin sees it thoroughly, think of it as my fart. Hearing this, Luffy suddenly showed a look of disgust on his face. I'm sorry, I can't let your disgusting fart. As for what Spandam did to Tom, his master and his apprentice, in Luffy's eyes, he is really not as good as a fart. Then, Luffy looked at Frankie. Okay, let's avenge your master. Frankie stepped forward, grabbed the stone pillar tied to Spandam's body, and lifted it directly above his head. You two bastards, do you know who my dad is? Don't think that you will do things without anyone noticing it. My father is Spandine, a high-ranking official in the world government. If you dare to kill me, he will definitely find out. When the time comes, you will just wait for life to be worse than death. Seeing that the begging was hopeless, Spandam roared and made a last desperate effort. I hope his father's prestige can calm down these two guys. However, when he said Spandine's name, Luffy immediately raised his hand. Wait a minute. What did you say your father's name is? Spandine. Seeing Luffy beckoning Frankie to stop, Spandam was overjoyed. Okay. Looks like my dad still works. Luffy asked again. Is it the former chief of CP 9 inches? Spandam snorted coldly. That's right. Since you already know who my dad is, let me go quickly. Otherwise, my dad's anger is not something you can afford, BD. Damn it. So you are the son of that dog. When Luffy confirmed Spandine's identity, he was furious, and he said to Frankie, this bastard. Tie another stone pillar to his body, and he will be charged with his father's responsibility. It's okay not to mention Spandine, but as soon as Spandine is mentioned, Luffy gets angry immediately. When Robin told about his life experience to the Straw Hat Pirates, he mentioned Stein. It can be said that this guy is Robin's big enemy. Hearing Luffy say that, Spandam was dumbfounded. What's the situation? Shouldn't you let me go quickly, and then provide me with good food and drink? Why did the situation suddenly take a turn for the worse? Damn it. How did my dad offend you? So much resentment. At first I thought I could rely on my father's prestige to survive, but I didn't expect that my last hole card would make my death even uglier. Damn it. Why did my grandma give birth to such a stupid father for me? Soon, Frankie added another stone pillar to Spandam. Then raised it above the head and threw it forward suddenly. Spandam let out a desperate roar, then crashed into the sea with a bang, and sank gruntly. Nami. Okay, this bastard deserves to die. Usopp. Yeah, he and his father are damned. Vinsmoke Sanji. Great. Revenge for Robin-chan over there. Roronoa Zoro. Sure enough, it's better to kill this kind of villain to relieve my anger. Frankie. Yeah, we should have killed this guy too. Spandam. Haha. You won't have this chance again. Sooner or later I will catch you all. Nico Robin. The next time we meet, even if Luffy doesn't kill you, I will definitely send you to hell. Spandam. Wait till you see me, ha 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 ha, Shiki, Gia ha 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 ha. Let you be merciful to him. You deserve to be laughed at by him. The next morning, partners have started to practice in the morning, and Luffy came out of the Merry and Lost Shipbuilding. On the way, Lu Chi, Kaku and Khalifa suddenly stopped his way. Looking at the three people in front of me, Luffy looked confused, but actually secretly funny. Of course he knows what the purpose of these three people is, but he can't guess how the other party will act. However, Luffy can't turn a blind eye to the cooperating performance. After all, he is the director and screenwriter of this scene. Why are you so stupid since you have already escaped? Why come back to give away the head? Luffy rubbed his chin, and continued to walk forward calmly. Don't be self-righteous. Although your strength is very strong, but today you placed an order, it's time for you to pay the price. Speaking, Lu Chi ordered to the two people beside him, let's go together. Swipe, brush, brush. Three figures rushed towards Luffy in an instant. Luffy is in the middle, Kaku is on the left, Khalifa is on the right. Is that so? Luffy frowned, it seems to be okay. At least it doesn't look like giving away the head directly. The three of them are also strong in CP9 anyway, and their speed is still very fast. In the blink of an eye, they are already approaching Luffy. And Luffy shot directly with lightning. The left hand grabbed Kaku's head, the right hand grabbed Khalifa's head, and then slammed into the middle. The heads of the two slammed into Lu Chi's head from the left and right respectively, and they fainted collectively on the spot. Gion. This. Shiki. Gia ha 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 ha. I really can't see. Trafalgar Law. It looks terrible, but it's not that they are too weak, but that the straw hats over there are too strong. Roronoa Zoro. Yes, we fought against them back then, and their strength is by no means weak. On the Merry, on deck, seeing that Luffy came back with his arms wrapped around three people, the friends were all stunned. Nami stepped forward and took a look, showing a look of dumbfounding. Huh, where did you pick them up? Leave away. Usopp brought a bucket of seawater, and rushed it directly in the faces of the three people, immediately waking them up. The three woke up leisurely, and found that they had been tied up, and they were relieved. Good. The undercover pre-mission has been completed. Damn, what happened? Why are we tied up again? Bastard. What's the matter with your strength? There is still work to be done on the surface. The three of Lu Chi struggled fiercely, and in the end they kept whining. Where is the door fruit ability user? When the three of them got tired of fighting, Luffy began to ask knowingly. I don't know, Lu Chi said coldly. Kaku gritted his teeth, made a look of hatred, then stopped talking. And Khalifa roared coquettishly and angrily. That bastard, because he was afraid that the goal with us would be too big, so he chose to hide alone. Hide? Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates looks at her suspiciously. Yes. Because our undercover mission to the capital of Seven Waters failed, we are now regarded as targets of elimination by the government of the world. It stands to reason that we should be more united at this time. That bastard Bluenose slipped away by himself. Khalifa had an angry expression. At this time, Kaku also said, don't talk about him like that. We have all fallen to this point, and it is not wrong for him to choose to escape alone. After all, it is easier for him to escape alone by relying on his door fruit ability. If we are with us, we will only drag him down. Oh, so it's this routine. Luffy has some understanding in his heart. Well, no matter what, the acting skills of these three people are still online, as expected of actors trained by CP9. Oh, where are the secret agents? Luffy looked at the three of them. Then why did the three of you come back to give away the head? Kaku took a deep breath and said depressedly, how do we know that you are so strong? Just one face-to-face kills the three of us in seconds. Do you know how outrageous this is? We are CP9. Khalifa also added. Luffy picked his ears. Is there anything special about CP9 who made the rule that you can't be knocked out? Kaku and Khalifa are like frosted eggplants, all right. We are not on the same channel at all. Hey, Straw Hat. At this time, Lu Chi suddenly looked at Luffy. Luffy pursed her lips. Speak up if you have something to say, don't act like it. The corner of Lu Chi's mouth twitched slightly, and he said, don't you want the training method of Marine 6 styles? Say conditions. Luffy said impatiently. Hearing this, Lu Chi was taken aback for a moment. Good guy, it's really easy to talk to smart people. Lu Chi looked at Luffy. Okay. Since you are a straightforward person, then I will go straight. Let the three of us stay on your boat. Nani, you are taking us to an immediate refuge. As the only third insider on board, Usopp immediately started acting. Zoro, who doesn't know the truth, looked at the three of them vigilantly. You guys are thinking too much. We, the Straw Hat Pirates, can't just accept people. Another melon-eating crowd who didn't know the truth, Sanji, became angry. Idiot green algae, what are you doing? Hurry up and welcome Miss Khalifa to join us. Dwang. Nami knocks Sanji down with a punch, then says, Luffy will decide. The CP9-3 of course also know that the final decision is in Luffy's hands, and the four of them immediately looked at Luffy. Luffy rubbed his chin, thought for a while, then looked at Usopp. Usopp understood and said, Luffy, they're using us, never trust them. At this time, Lu Chi said, yes, we are using your great strength to seek shelter, but we are not living for nothing. Marine 6 styles is the entrance fee we paid. Besides, Kaku is still an excellent shipbuilder. We are not rich and useless. I am a qualified accountant and assistant. I can handle all the miscellaneous documents and miscellaneous matters very well. Khalifa also hurriedly explained her own advantages. Stop joking. How can I trust you to be shipwrights and handle documents? Luffy shook his head immediately, and then looked at the three of them. However, our new ship is very big, and we lack cleaners. If you are willing to be cleaners, then I can take you in. Cleaner. The three of CP9 were taken aback. This is a bit far from what the three of them expected. But now is not the time to dislike this or that. Lu Chi gritted his teeth. Okay, we are willing to be cleaners. Capone Beige. Hey, they thought they acted well. Basil Hawkins. They did really well, but they didn't know they were acting in the script that Red Luffy wrote for them. Jewelry Polly. Yes, we are able to be so thorough because we are bystanders. If you try to put yourself into their roles, I guess you can't even do half of them. Trafalgar Law. This third brother is so pitiful. He tried every means to squeeze in, and finally became a cleaner. Skulakai Manap. They must be still secretly happy in their hearts. Ah, blah, blah. Kong. What a bunch of idiots. Rox D. Zebek. Can this be blamed on them? Isn't the rule given by the world's government too stupid? As long as it is an order issued by the CP9 chief, it must be carried out regardless of whether it is right or wrong. If it is stupid, it is also the 5 elders. Be an old turtle shin. Gold D. Roger. Haha, that's right. Izanbaran versus Nashao Langsheng. Hehe. You can only enjoy your mouth. If you have the ability, come to Marie Joy's and talk about it in front of us. Shaki. Damn. Say you're stupid. You still have to prove it to us. What idiot would take the initiative to go to someone else's site to mock them? Why don't you go to the Four Emperors site to give Four Emperors a bad mouth? Charlotte Linlin. Ahahaha. If he dares to come, I will make him a homies. The Straw Hat Pirates stayed in the capital of Seven Waters for another month. The new ship is finally launched. Because it was built by Frankie himself, Luffy gave Frankie the opportunity to name this ship. The name, Frankie actually thought of it a long time ago. 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. When this giant ship entered the sea, a large amount of seawater was instantly displaced. In addition, the melee has also been strengthened. Using the latest treasure tree alloy to coat the whole body of the melee with a layer of 10 cm thick film, which greatly improves the durability of the melee. Then the power system also adds a blower shell power under Frankie's perfect technology. You know, on the sea, the most indispensable thing is the wind. Frankie evenly divided the Beauty's power blast shells into 2 batches. When one batch of blast shells run out of power, another batch of blast shells will start automatically. Because when the ship is galloping, it will generate a strong wind force and airflow. At this time, the first batch of wind shells that have exhausted their wind power will turn 180 degrees and start to replenish wind energy against the wind. In this way, the wind power of the melee is like a perpetual motion machine. Of course, this method is currently only suitable for the melee. As for the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, because it is too big, there are not enough gusts for the time being. Attention all positions, the melee is about to berth. Frankie ordered in the control room of 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. The position of the berthing door is ready. The berthing position is ready. On the berth door and the berth, Kiwi and Maz responded with the intercom bugs respectively. The two of them were originally the Cube sisters of Frankie's family, and also Frankie's most loyal female companions. Frankie went out to sea with the Straw Hat Pirates this time, and originally planned to leave Frankie's house alone. However, when the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine officially launched into the sea, Frankie discovered the problem of insufficient manpower. This big ship, if there is not enough manpower, it will fall into an embarrassing situation that cannot be operated. As for the members of the original Straw Hat Pirates, only Usopp knows a little bit more about these operations, and the others are bastards. In desperation, Frankie can only explain this problem to Luffy. Subsequently, the Straw Hat Pirates have a meeting. The situation we faced at the time was, either let the 3 of CP9 touch these things or we can only increase the manpower. As for the item that allowed the 3 of CP9 to touch the internal operation of the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, it was unanimously voted down by all the crew members. Then Frankie recommended the Cube sisters who have always been loyal to him. The two people's shipbuilding skills are not good, but their ship-breaking skills are definitely second only to Frankie. Of course, in addition to this, their ability to operate ships is also very good. The most important thing is that the two of them have followed Frankie for many years, and they can be said to be Frankie's super assistants, and the tacit understanding is full. Eventually, Kiwi and Maz boarded the ship as Frankie's assistants. Although they are not official partners, they are also members of their own family, and their status is much higher than that of the cleaning trio. Haha. Come. Luffy is sitting on the sheep's head of the melee, and with the deceleration of the gust shell, the melee has entered the berth at the bottom of the Kylie Sunshine. Mooring lock. The berthing door is closed. With Kiwi and Maz completing their respective operations, the first show of The Boat Swallows the Boat is perfectly completed. Great. Even if you are diving in the future, you don't have to worry about the melee. Luffy jumped off the sheep's head with his hands raised high. Captain. Kiwi and Maz follow Frankie's instructions and respect Luffy. Luffy smiles and nods in response. Bashang looked around. The environment here is full of sci-fi feeling, subconsciously asked, "Where did you get up?" "This way please, Captain." Kiwi and Maz, one on the left and one on the right, lead the way for Luffy. The rest of the Straw Hat Pirates followed suit. Wow. This ship looks amazing. Chopper looked around with a pair of small eyes, constantly amazed. Robin stretched out his hands to mold the grooves on both sides of the passage, and couldn't help but said, as the two personal disciples of the world's #1 shipbuilder, their shipbuilding skills are really powerful. She has been on many boats before, but this is the first time she has seen a boat with such details in every place. How to say, if you have to compare, other people's boats are like clay dolls made by children, while the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine is an exquisite work of art made by craftsmen. And the interior of this exquisite artwork is full of various high-tech. On deck, Khalifa, here's some more foam. Kaku has now turned into a half-human half-giraffe form, expanding the cleaning range. Coming. Khalifa's body is now in the shape of a sheep made of foam, and her feet are also foam, She quickly slid to Kaku's side, put soap on the 10 electric boards and ran. That's right. The 2 devil fruits that Usopp brought back from Eni's lobby were eaten by the 2 of them. Originally, Luffy just let Khalifa eat the bubble fruit, which is convenient for cleaning the pirate ship. But it's useless to leave a zone devil fruit in the form of a giraffe. It happened to be eaten by Kaku. Of course, this is not to strengthen Kaku, but to weaken him. The 3 of CP9 are now demon fruit power, which causes them to be imprisoned by sea stone, and they cannot escape on the sea. As for the ability of devil fruit to improve the strength of Khalifa and Kaku, there is no difference at all in the Straw Hat Pirates. Miss Khalifa, we need soap bubbles here too. Sanji is wiping the floor, looking at Khalifa with red hearts in his eyes. Thank you Sanji-kun. Khalifa's soap sheep came over. Sanji was so excited that his nose bleed. During the ardent work on the deck, the 1,000 miles of sunshine left the capital of 7 waters and embarked on a journey. The picture is here. The red frame screen slowly dimmed. Screen disappears. Roronoa Zoro. Hey. Look at his stupidity, what a shame. Vinsmoke Sanji. Asshole. You idiot green algae, do you know how to respect women's chivalry? Nami. Obviously lustful. Chopper. Yeah, Sanji is lustful. Brook. Sanji's lust is recognized by everyone. Yo ho 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 ho. Vinsmoke Sanji. Hey, 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 Brook. It's fine if others say me, you don't have the right to say me. Not long, the screen with white borders gradually brightened. The screen appears. Luffy and his party left the capital of 7 waters and headed toward Sabaody Archipelago in the direction indicated by the record pointer. When I went to the Devil's Triangle Sea area, I picked up a floating treasure box at sea. After opening, it is actually the signal flare used by Gecko Moria. Finally met Brook again. According to the position of the signal flare, the Devil bark sailed over and trapped the 1,000 miles of sunshine. During this period, Robin was heavily mopped up by transparent people. Nami is even worse. After the Straw Hat Pirates experienced the incident where the shadow was taken away, they finally defeated Moria under Luffy's efforts to turn the tide. Sir Crocodile. Moria, it turns out that you were beaten up by the Straw Hat too. Then what right do you have to laugh at me? Gecko Moria. I did this by accident. Sir Crocodile, are you stupid? Don Quixote Doflamingo. F you Furfur. You 2 idiots stop pecking at each other here. They are both chickens, stop arguing. Sir Crocodile. Idiot. Gecko Moria. Humph. After leaving the Devil's Triangle Sea area, 1,000 miles of sunshine finally arrived at Sabaody Archipelago. Here, there is a supernova. Luffy beat up Tianlong Ren in the auction house, which directly caused a big incident. Marine Admiral Kizaru came to deal with it, and put on an awesome solo performance show of "One bite is scary, one kick is supernova." Pluton Rayleigh, with the support of One Piece's right wrist, appears to help Straw Hat crew fight against Kizaru. Bartholomew Kuma shoots everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates. The Straw Hat Pirates are distributed on different islands. Gold D. Roger. Rayleigh, you still can't stand being lonely. Silver Rayleigh. Haha. When I saw the straw hat on Luffy's head, I couldn't have just stood by. Shiki. Isn't the guy with the book in his hand one of the Marines? How do you feel that after he made a move, the Straw Hat Pirates were rescued instead? Rox D. Zebek. Haha, it's too obvious. Sengoku, look, you Marines are so talented. Sengoku. Ignorant. That's Bartholomew Kuma from 7 Warlords of the Sea, not Marine. And there is another reason for him to save the Straw Hat Pirates. The old man will naturally find him. Luffy landed on 9 Snake Island. When seeing this scene, Hancock was completely dumbfounded. Her secret will be known by everyone. After Luffy experienced the adventure of 9 Snake Island, Empress Hancock fell madly in love with Luffy, and hid Luffy in Hancock's clothes and sent it to the deep sea prison. The scene of Hancock taking a bath did not appear in the picture, which made Hancock's heart that had been hanging in his throat finally fell back. It really freaked her out just now. If that kind of scene that is not suitable for children really appears, firstly, her body will be exposed in front of the eyes of people all over the world, and secondly, the imprint of Tianxiang Dragon's hoof on her back will also be exposed. She is already a draconian slave and will be revealed to the public. Once her status as a slave is announced, not only will she never be able to hold her head up again, but the government of the world will not let her go, and will definitely take her back to be a slave of the Tianlong people. Portgas Diaz. Luffy, you really shouldn't come to save me. Seeing Luffy break into the deep sea prison alone to save him, Ace's heart is going to break. Monkey D. Luffy, Ace, What are you talking about? You are my brother. I will definitely save you. Sabo. Ace, don't blame Luffy for this, you can only blame me. Luffy went to save you, but I'm still thousands of miles away. Portgas D. Ace. Sabo. You have been losing your memory, how can you blame this? You shouldn't. The path I choose, let me go to the end, is the most correct. The right way. Sengoku. Hancock. You did it. Boa Hancock. My concubine will not refuse what Mr. Luffy asks me to do. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. Women are interesting creatures. Luffy has entered the deep sea prison, rushing to the 6th. During the period, he released many heinous pirates and criminals. I also went to the 5.5th floor of the prison, bringing out a large number of ladyboys. After reaching the 6th floor, Luffy found that Ace was no longer here, and was sent to naval headquarters for execution. Luffy released Jinbei and Crocodile, and then met Buggy, Mr. 3 and others, and organized a wave of prison escape. Then just as the group of Luffy began to break through, the Blackbeard pirates also arrived at the deep sea prison. As soon as we met each other, the whole group was instantly killed by Magellan, the warden of the deep sea prison. Afterwards, Shiryu of the Rain appeared, took the antidote and revived everyone in the Blackbeard pirates. Shiryu joined the Blackbeard pirates, and together they went to the 6th floor of the big prison at the bottom of the sea and released many legendary pirates. The Blackbeard pirates became super pirates capable of challenging any force in the sea. Group. Luffy broke through with everyone, and met Magellan during the period, but relying on the ability of Mr. 3's wax fruit to cooperate with Luffy, he successfully broke through Magellan's blockade. In the end, a large number of pirates escaped from the deep sea prison. Luffy and his team snatched a warship and went to naval headquarters. On the other side, the Blackbeard pirates also went to naval headquarters on a big bamboo raft. In addition, some legendary big pirates also took the opportunity to escape, such as Red Earl Beloric Redfield, Douglas Bullet, Burn D. Wald, etc. The video is here, the white frame video slowly fades away. The screen disappears. Sengoku. Damn it, he let out so many criminals from Impel Down. Sakazuki. Straw Hat Luffy, you are so damned good. Crane. The reason why Impel Down exists is mainly to prevent those devil fruits with powerful destructive power from being obtained by evil people again. It was impossible to break through there, but because of Luffy's accident, the impossibly broken prison was breached. Peluzalino. Jinbei also played a vital role. If there is no Shenping, even if they break through to the outside of Impel Down, they will not be able to get a warship and wait for Magellan to destroy them. Sakazuki. Anyway, it's all because of the pirates. Pirates should be damned. Ghost Spider. Sakazuki Admiral is right. Doberman, damn pirates. Don Quixote Doflamingo. Fu Furfur. What do you bark the dogs there? Didn't you find something very interesting? The video on the white framed screen has been played to us. This moment is now. Gold D. Roger. If you say it like that, it's really true, then this viewing system should be over. Shiki. It's over. Can't wait to turn naval headquarters upside down. Ha 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 ha. Rox D. Zebek. What? And no. Impossible. Lousy hasn't been revived yet. Kaido. Forget it. Even if there is another question later, you are still in the blackout period. Charlotte Linlin. Wahahaha. Resurrected several times, without you Rox, you are so miserable. Sengoku. Damn, is the big war about to start? Compared to Rox, Sengoku's mood is not much better. The 15-year-old youth he wanted has not yet been obtained. In this state, his body is not as good as before. At this time, the screen with the red border gradually brightens up. The screen appears, merry and 1,000 miles of sunshine sailing on the sea. Compared to steel hockey on 1,000 miles of sunshine, Luffy is still more used to staying on Melee. Moreover, the current Merly has been transformed by the jet shell, and it is almost a perpetual motion machine of wind energy, so there is no such thing as a waste of resources. As for the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates, Usopp needs to observe the sea conditions on the Liaowing Tower of the 1,000 miles of sunshine. Sanji follows Khalifa's ass every day. Zoro practiced on the 1,000 miles of sunshine, because there is a practice room specially built by Frankie on the 1,000 miles of sunshine, which is deeply loved by Zoro. Luffy. Why did you drive the Mary out during the day? Buggy usually also practices on the deck of the 1,000 miles of sunshine, but when he is not practicing, he will go around the Mary. Luffy lay on a recliner and said with a smile, I think if the Mary is kept in the cabin of the 1,000 miles of sunshine, she will feel very lonely. Nani, Buggy had an unbelievable expression, and smiled wryly. The boat has no consciousness, how can it be lonely? Ah ha ha. Luffy also laughed at himself. I know it's like this too, but that day when we took the Mary into the cabin of the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine for the first time, I felt that Mary was very scared and lonely. Don't laugh, I know it's a bit stupid to say that. But that's how I really felt at the time, and now, every day, when I go out on the Mary, I can feel her happy too. Also, after sailing for the past few days, I feel more and more that the Mary really has its own mood swings. Luffy laughed while scratching a sea duck neck. Bastard Buggy, run to Luffy if you have nothing to do. Hurry up and go back to practice on the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine. At this time, Nami came over and threatened. Buggy spread his hands. You've been relying on Luffy's place during the day, how dare you criticize me? Idiot. I have to take care of the orange orchard. Hearing that Buggy actually connoted her, Nami punched Buggy on the head in anger. Buggy split into tiny particles like sand, then quickly flew to the side, and reassembled. He pouted. Everyone told you to move the orange orchard to the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, which has a sun shed specially suitable for planting. Then why don't you move? Nami said angrily. I'm afraid that the oranges will be broken when transferring them. Why are you so verbose? Hurry up and practice. Buggy wanted to say something, but saw a series of arms connected from a window on the side of 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, and then saw Robin stepping on the arm ladder and walking over. Robin gave Buggy a blank look. You guys are really incomprehensible. Hurry up and practice. Hey, seeing that Robin was also talking about him, Buggy suddenly froze. Okay, good men don't fight with women. I flash. He walks back to 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, stepping on the arm ladder that Robin just made. Thank you, Miss Robin. Nami hugged Robin's arm happily and acted like a baby. Robin smiled. How could she not see Nami's thoughts on Luffy? So she usually helps Nami cover up and create a suitable two-person space for Nami and Luffy. Did you hear that? Suddenly, Luffy jumped up from the reclining chair as if his ass had been stabbed by a tuna. What? Nami and Robin showed confusion in their eyes at the same time. Luffy shook his head again, also a little confused. Oh. Maybe it's because I didn't sleep well last night. Okay, I won't bother you anymore, I'm going to practice hockey too. Since officially becoming a partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, Robin has worked harder in training. As a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, she is very worried that when danger comes one day, she will not be able to help everyone. I'll see if the oranges are ripe. Nami went to the back deck. Luffy rubbed his eyes, then lay down on the recliner. But the moment he just lay down, he bounced up again. He suddenly looked around, looking around for the mouth. Recruited, when his gaze swept across the mast of the Mary, he suddenly froze there. Found it. Under the sun, a petite figure wearing a goose yellow raincoat and rain boots is sitting on the crossbar of the mast, with his two calves swinging happily. The moment I saw this petite figure, the petite figure was also looking at Luffy. Luffy's eyes instantly burst into deep shock. Because when he saw the happy arc on the corners of the mouth of this petite figure, he also felt the happy mood swings expressed by the Mary. This kind of happy mood swing far exceeds the level he felt on the Mary any time before. Is her. It's the Mary. Although the matter in front of me is too outrageous, Luffy can be sure that this petite figure in a goose yellow raincoat is definitely the source of Molly's emotions. You. Daughter the Mary, Luffy asked subconsciously. Then the ship elf didn't respond in any words, but seemed to be extremely excited and happy about the three words Melly. How to say? It's like you raised a puppy and named the puppy Meili. If you call it by its name often, it will gradually know that Meili is its name. Can't understand people's words, Luffy was a little surprised, and then tried to wave at the ship elf. I saw that petite figure on the mast suddenly disappeared. Ah, Luffy was startled, but then, in front of him, the ship spirit appeared out of thin air. Without any restraint or shyness, the ship elf threw herself into Luffy's arms. Luffy subconsciously hugged the ship elf, and saw the ship elf leaning his little face on Luffy's chest, with a satisfied expression on his face. At the same time, Luffy could clearly feel the mood swings on the Melly. Happy. Yes, this is a super happy mood. God. Mary has become a master. When Luffy reacted, he fully realized how outrageous this matter is. No wonder he felt the emotions of the Melly many times before. He thought he had some kind of hallucinatory mental disorder, but he didn't expect it to be true. Luffy excitedly hugged little Melly to find Nami. Nami was also scared silly, however, when she stretched out her hand to hug little Melly, she found that her hand went directly through Melly. Nami's face darkened, and she said depressedly, "Ah, why can't I touch her?" Haha. I don't know either, But I can. Luffy laughed loudly, and tossed little Melly a few times. The meaning of scorn, make no secret of it. Afterwards, Luffy told the news to his partners. Everyone was shocked, only Frankie stared out his eyes. Oh my god. This is the legendary ship elf. Ship elf, the partners all looked at Frankie with a confused face. Frankie immediately told everyone about the ship spirit. It's only now that everyone understands how outrageous this light yellow petite figure is. You guys have to know that ship spirits only exist in legends. So far, no ship has been recorded as having a ship spirit, and our Mary is the only one, Frankie said in shock. But why only Luffy can hug her, but we can't? Sanji asked, very depressed. Zoro curled his lips. Could it be because you, a perverted cook, are so perverted that the ship spirits are afraid of you? Sanji suddenly became furious. Fart. Then you can't touch her too. Zoro shook his head. Who said that I haven't touched her so far? How do you know I can't? Then go touch it now. Sanji pulled Zoro and walked towards Luffy. I don't go. Zoro shook off Sanji's hand and said disdainfully, as long as I don't touch her, you can't prove that I can't touch her. At this point, I am currently ahead of you. At this time, Frankie explained to everyone. The ship spirit can only be seen by the partners recognized by this ship. As for wanting to meet her, there is no record of this. Either because Luffy is the captain or is it because Luffy has the deepest bond with this ship. In short, this must require a very harsh condition. At this moment, there was a violent explosion outside. Then, the blazing light shines brightly outside the window. What happened? Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates rushed out. When they came to the deck, they saw the cleaning crew trio looking at an empty treasure chest in front of them with a dazed expression. What happened? Sanji rushed up, and looked around Khalifa nervously. Is Miss Khalifa injured? Seeing Luffy and others coming, Lu Chi spread his hands. Just now we found a treasure chest floating on the sea surface, on which was written a tribute to the sea god, so we salvaged it. As a result, when I opened it, it turned out to be a signal flare. If I'm not mistaken, someone in this fog may be watching us. Although it seems that he got into trouble, Lu Chi still has the courage to take responsibility, and quickly analyzed the possibility. Luffy looked at the wooden barrel treasure chest, and saw that the words, Sea God's Royal Treasure, were indeed written on it. At first glance, he would indeed think that it was a treasure paid to Sea God by someone else. Obviously, this was done on purpose. Well, your analysis is correct. But if it's a group of pirates, that's not bad. The Saboti archipelago has a marine base that just happened to grab it for money, Luffy said. Hearing what Luffy said, the trio of cleaners were stunned. Catch a pirate, Kaku widened his eyes and said in shock. Luffy shrugged his shoulders. Just making money, by the way, is worth the fuss. The trio of cleaners are humble and don't dare to say anything. I just feel speechless. Pirates catch pirates for rewards. It's the first time they've heard of it. As you get deeper and deeper into the Devil's Triangle Sea area, the fog on the sea surface is getting thicker. Because of poor visibility, Luffy temporarily drove the Mary into the cabin. On deck, Buggy is standing with a piece of wood. Looks like nothing is done, but if you look closely, this piece of wood has been vibrating slightly. It's really close, it's close. Buggy shakes his head depressedly. Since seeing Luffy's devil fruit awakening in Little Garden, Buggy has a new goal for developing devil fruit. Everyone is Paramecia devil fruit. Since Luffy's rubber fruit can be awakened, can't my Buggy's split fruit be awakened? After coming out of Little Garden, Buggy has been practicing active splitting over and over again, while trying to split external objects. He has done experiments with many things and found that the inorganic matter can respond to his splitting ability, but the organic matter has almost no response to its splitting ability. That's why Buggy focused on cultivating this splitting ability on inorganic matter. The reason for using wood for cultivation is not that there is anything special about this piece of wood, but because Buggy used this piece of wood for the first time to practice with inorganic substances, so. Obviously I already feel it, but it's always a little bit worse. Damn it. Even if I can't keep up with Luffy, you can't be used further and further away by him. Come again. I must awaken. Department Little Melly. Wow. I over there have already awakened to this extent. Seeing that the red Luffy's ship, the Mary, can already actively communicate with Luffy, Little Mary herself was stunned. Although it is still not possible to communicate with words, it is only an interaction in terms of emotional fluctuations, but this is already enough to make Melly unimaginable. Monkey D. Luffy. Frankie, what's the situation with Little Melly over there? Is it because of the bond? Frankie. I don't know either. It's impossible for anyone to know about this situation, But if you let me guess, it's because I have reached a certain level of feathers. Nami. It's disgusting that only Red Luffy can touch it. Nico Robin. He, Red Luffy cherishes the Mary, it is reasonable for Little Mary to respond to him. Gold D. Roger. Little Buggy is the most shocking thing. If I'm not mistaken, his situation is a sign before awakening. Shanks. Really, is Buggy's devil fruit over there about to awaken? Is there any demon fruit power from Paramecia to explain if this is the case? Don Quixote da Flamingo. It should be. I remember the time before my devil fruit awakened, I could always feel that I seemed to be able to transform other substances into threads. Until the moment I fully awakened, can really transform other substances into lines. Buggy. Nani, that's it. I'm really going to wake up over there. Edward Newgate. It's outrageous. If the split fruit is awakened, wouldn't it be able to split other things, and the Buggy over there has already cultivated the active split to the extent that it can be split into the same size as sand? Then once he awakens successfully, wouldn't he be able to split any inorganic matter into the size of sand? Monkey D. Luffy. Sounds like a very powerful look. Marco. Please remove the scorpion. This must be very powerful. If you meet him at sea, the enemy ship will directly turn into sand-like pieces, and you won't even have time to surrender. Hearing Marco's explanation, many people who didn't understand before realized how terrible the split fruit would be once awakened. Buggy. It seems that I have to learn my cultivation method over there, and wake up early. Gold D. Roger. Wow, haha. Great, little Buggy, you will definitely wake up. Buggy has been practicing for a while, and was about to go back to the room to take a rest, suddenly. He frowned, and immediately looked at Khalifa's skin on the deck. At this time, Khalifa is bending over and rubbing against the railing, her buttocks pouted. Buggy's fingertips suddenly caught several daggers. Swipe. Brush. His two palms were separated from his body in an instant, and he was carrying 6 sharp daggers, and he shot towards Khalifa's butt like a wolf. Puff. Just when the 2 daggers came to about 1 meter behind Khalifa, they were inserted into an invisible object. Aw. There was a miserable cry in the air all of a sudden. And Buggy controlled his hands, swung the invisible thing in a circle, and then nailed it hard to the deck. This sudden scream made Khalifa startled all of a sudden. She was cleaning the railing seriously, but suddenly there was a strange scream from behind. Do you think it's scary? Lu Chi and Kaku also looked over immediately. What's going on? Then in their shocked eyes, they saw a strange figure appearing on the ground of this deck. Looks like a human, but also looks like a lion. Khalifa immediately turned her head to the side, roaring in an atmosphere. Asshole. His surname is Xiao Chao. What is this? Lu Chi frowned. Buggy walked up to Absalom, looked down at him, and asked coldly, what are you? Damn it. It shouldn't be. How did you find me? While Absalom is in pain, his eyes are full of confusion. As a user of the transparent fruit, he has tasted many women in this sea area, and he can succeed every time. Just now I saw that the signal flare they used as bait was opened, and he rushed over immediately. Absalom couldn't bear it when he saw a beautiful woman on the deck. It turned out that I didn't expect that before I succeeded, I was nailed to the ground by a dagger. At this time, Luffy also came. His observation haki is the strongest, so when he sensed the movement outside, he came out immediately. What's going on? Luffy asked directly. Buggy pointed to Absalom lying on the ground. I was practicing just now, and suddenly observation haki noticed an invisible person walking behind Khalifa, and I directly nailed him to the ground with a dagger. Luffy looked at Absalom, and immediately revealed a disgusted expression. This guy has already taken off his pants. Reminiscent of what Buggy said, he immediately understood. Suddenly, Luffy said contemptuously, this bastard is a user with transparent fruit ability. How dare you use food ability to do such a lowly thing? Buggy, cut him off. Buggy was also not polite, and directly picked Absalom out of the deck with a dagger. Wait. What are you going to do? Hey, I'm a cadre of 7 warlords of the Sea Moria. Do you want to offend Moria? Absalom yelled in horror when he heard that others were going to treat him like this. Of course, he's not particularly scared. After all, there is the miracle Dr. Hobak. No matter where his body is cut, Hobak can pick him up again. He can even pick up other animals. Moria, ha ha ha. There is something about Moria that deserves your harsh words. Hearing this, Buggy laughed silly, but I saw Luffy kill Crocodile with 1 blow. Although the reward for this Moria is not low, but in terms of hard power, Moria's strength is not as good as Crocodile. When this guy comes in front of Luffy, I think Luffy will stare at him, and he will feel bad. Brush. Buggy was too lazy to talk nonsense, so he directly raised the knife and cut off Absalom. Then he looked at Luffy. How to deal with him? This kind of rubbish, throw it into the sea, Luffy said with disgust. Nani, hearing what Luffy said, Absalom suddenly screamed. If you just cut him off, he doesn't care. But if you throw him into the sea, he will sink directly to the bottom of the sea, then there will be nothing. He hurriedly begged for mercy in horror. Don't throw me into the sea. What can I say? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know Taishan, please forgive me. Luffy waved his hand. Forgive me. Throw it away, it's disgusting to look at it for a while. Buggy controlled two palms hanging in the air to swipe them back, and the dagger was pulled out from Absalom's body. As a result, Absalom immediately lost his support and fell into the sea. Really? How can there be such a disgusting guy? Hearing that Absalom was thrown into the sea, Khalifa turned around. Her cheeks were still flushed with lingering anger. She looks at Luffy. Thank you, Captain. Thank me for what? Thank Buggy. If it weren't for Buggy, you would have lost your virginity now. Luffy pouted towards Buggy. Hearing this, Khalifa said seriously to Buggy. Thank you, Senior Buggy. Stop talking nonsense. Luffy taking you in doesn't mean I approve of you. You were able to go undercover in the capital of Seven Waters before, and now you can also go undercover in our Straw Hat Pirates. Just because Luffy took you in, but if I find out that you have any bad intentions, I will tear you apart without hesitation. For the beauty's thanks, Buggy doesn't appreciate it at all. Yes, Senior Buggy. Khalifa bowed his head and stopped arguing. Luffy is very satisfied with Buggy's vigilance. The reason why he only let Frankie and Usopp know about the undercover director is to make other partners not take it lightly. As long as everyone doesn't know that this incident was directed by Luffy, they can't be too lax about this trio of cleaners. Vinsmoke Sanji. Good. This is too much. Good to die. Thinking of what Absalom did to Nami and Robin back then, Sanji wished he could kill Absalom 1,000 times. Nami. This change is too much, you deserve it. Robin. When I think about what happened, I feel sick. Frankie. Yeah, that bastard. The red Luffy over there is really fast and resolute. Usopp. Good cut. Gecko Moria. Damn, killed Absalom. I don't know what will happen to me over there. Don Quixote Doflamingo. That's a question, it must be dead too. Fooferfer. The cleaning on the deck is almost done. Luffy asked the cleaning crew trio to rest for a while. Buggy. How is your practice of controlling the splitting of external objects going? Luffy asked. Buggy demonstrated it to Luffy. Luffy told Buggy about her experience when she woke up, and Buggy kept nodding, listening very seriously. Buggy went to comprehend it by himself, and Luffy objected to Lu Chi recruiting stars. Luffy didn't speak, but still walked over. Luffy asked directly, "Are you sure what you taught me about the iron body ability is true?" "Of course it's true." Lu Chi frowned slightly. "Yes, the other 5 are fine, and it is impossible to lie to me about iron body alone." Luffy shook his head, then laughed, "But the iron body ability is really stupid. In terms of defense, it is not as good as armament hockey, and it cannot be moved." "Move? It's like a fool to practice this thing. Forget it, I'll only practice the 5 marine moves." At this moment, a broken ship suddenly appeared in the fog ahead. Ah! Khalifa was the first to scream, attract others to look at it immediately. With just one glance, all the hairs stand on end immediately. "Are you kidding me?" Lu Chi's pupils condensed fiercely, staring at the broken ship deck ahead. Kaku also opened his mouth wide in astonishment. Skeleton. Skeleton. Am I hallucinating? I saw a living skeleton. No. It's not a hallucination, because I saw it too. Buggy took a deep breath, and his forehead was also sweating. No matter how strong the strong are, they are still in the category of humans after all. However, if encountering something beyond the scope of human beings, even the strong will feel fear. Binks wine, do you want to taste? On the lifeless broken ship ahead, a skull is singing with a cup of steaming tea. Ren. Frankie. Ha ha ha. They were so scared when they saw Brook for the first time. Roronoa Zoro. Of course. No one has ever seen a living skeleton. Tony Chopper. Usopp and I were freaked out. Usopp. Yeah. I keep the cross in my hand. Nami. Haha. I was so scared that tears came out. Edward Newgate. When I saw this skeleton for the first time in the white frame video just now, I was really shocked. What the hell? Luffy also saw this kind of scene for the first time, not only felt that his hairs were bursting. Luffy. What should I do? Yuki's voice trembled a little. I don't know either, but is there really a living skeleton here? The corner of Luffy's mouth twitched, however. It is true or false, you have to try it to be sure. Otherwise, if you were deceived by someone, it will be so uncomfortable. Thinking of this, Luffy released Conqueror's Haki without saying a word. Boom. An incomparable and powerful power instantly condensed into a precise thin line, and fell on Brook in an instant. Brook rolled his eyes, fell to the ground neatly, and the teacup in his hand went into the sea. Usopp. PFFFF. Ha ha ha. Roronoa Zoro. Okay. I won the Red Luffy's Conqueror's Haki, and I'm sure I'm going to board the boat. Frankie. It seems that my luck is still good. It seems that I am the only one who missed the Luffy Conqueror's Haki. Brook. I'm too fast. I was blown away as soon as I met. Vinsmoke Sanji. Haha. Shocking fast, closing fast. Nami. Conqueror's partner package really lives up to its name. Huh. Conqueror's is also useful for skeletons. Luffy just had the attitude of giving it a try, but I didn't expect it to be really successful. Lucci, Kaku and Khalifa next to each other were shocked at the same time. Although Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was not aimed at them just now, they clearly felt the coercion from the Conqueror's Haki. Unmistakable. This is the Conqueror's Haki that only appears to 1 in a million people. Although they don't have Conqueror's Haki, the knowledge of Conqueror's Haki as CP9 Guan Wang is their necessary knowledge. From what Luffy leaked just now, it can be judged that Luffy's Conqueror's Haki is ridiculously strong. At this time, Luffy's arm stretched out, reaching directly to the deck of the dead ship in front. Out of caution, Luffy wraps his arms around Armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki, grabs the fainted Brook and takes it back. Luffy threw Brook to the ground, and then shouted, "Call Chopper, dissect this skeleton." Brook. Nani. Frankie. Haha. Good anatomy, super. Usopp. You're so ridiculous. I'm afraid I'll faint from fright when Chopper comes over. Tony Chopper. That's for sure, but can skeletons be dissected too? Nanoya Zoro. If you can't dissect, then open the skull. When I saw the red Luffy, my first reaction was to call for someone to dissect the skeleton, and everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates laughed from ear to ear. This thing. How does it seem to be alive? Lu Chi walked closer and saw Brook twitching nonstop with an unbelievable expression on his face. Khalifa pushed the purple-framed glasses, opened his mouth. Isn't it like, he seems to be alive? Soon, everyone from the Straw Hat Pirates came out of the cabin. When they saw a skeleton lying on the ground, they all showed emoticons. Chopper, please dissect it and see if this thing is a real species. Luffy stretched out his hand to pull Chopper while talking. Chopper was so frightened that his nose burst into tears. Ah, I don't want it. Don't let me get close to it. Zoro was not afraid. He directly forced the blade of Shuezo to Brook's neck, threatening, "Hey, tell me, what the hell are you, or I'll cut you off." That's right. Cut him off if you don't say anything. This skeleton is not serious at first glance. Sanji also cheered from the side. Usopp said, "This thing is actually quite tough. It's so hard that it doesn't say a word. Better die than surrender." Zoro looked up at Luffy, apparently waiting for Luffy's opinion. Luffy frowned. We heard him sing before, but now he doesn't say a word. Maybe it's a summoning puppet manipulated by other capable people. Zoro chose to chop off his head to see the situation. Good. Zoro doesn't even ink, so he's going to do it right away. But at this moment, Lu Chi said in a deep voice, "Didn't he be shocked by your Conqueror's Haki? How did you talk?" Everyone is stunned. What else is there? Generally, after being stunned by Conqueror's Haki, people will turn pale, foam at the mouth, and tremble nonstop. But the guy in front of me is covered in bones except for his hair, and he can't see any body language or facial expressions at all. Luffy scratched his head. I was only thinking about dissection, and I forgot that I used Conquerors to stun him. Partners are all dumbfounded. Good guy. We still thought that this skeleton would rather die than submit. After a long time of fuss, it turned out that he was still risking. Usopp poured a bucket of water on the skeleton's face. Ah. Brook woke up. He quickly shouted, I'm a human, I'm demon fruit power. Don't cut off my head, I'm going to die." Although I couldn't speak just now, Brook still heard what Luffy and Zoro said. If someone hadn't reminded him, he would have died inexplicably. As soon as he regained his ability to speak, he quickly shouted, "Demon fruit power." Zoro looked at it curiously, and asked suspiciously, "What is devil fruit, skeleton fruit?" Sanji guessed, "It may also be the fruit of ribs." No. I am a person with the ability of the fruit of the underworld. I was originally. Brook hurriedly talked about it. Actually, when he first met the 1,000 Miles of Sunshine, He wanted to pretend to be aggressive, keep a sense of mystery, and take a look at the living people by the way. But what he never expected was that he just wanted to pretend to be a force, but he was directly carried over by others, and he had to be dissected and beheaded. He's afraid that if he doesn't explain the matter quickly now, he will die inexplicably if he doesn't make it right. Wait, you just said, what was the name of the pirate group you used to be in? Suddenly, Luffy noticed a key word and interrupted Brook's narration. Seeing that Luffy seems to be very concerned about the name of his pirate group, Brook felt a little flustered, and stammered, Lumba Pirates. What? When they heard that Brook confirmed the name, Luffy, Zoro, Buggy, Usopp, Nami and Sanji suddenly widened their eyes, and their eyes were full of horror. What? What's going on? Robin frowned suspiciously, his face extremely bewildered. Chopper is wide open and cute Frankie is also puzzled. He said that the pirate group was wiped out when they were 50 years old, you guys. Even Buggy, there was no #AB at that time. Is there a problem? Brook actually didn't know what to do in his heart, and watched the Straw Hat Pirates carefully. Sanji suddenly asked loudly, did you bring a fish from West Blue to Grand Line? Don't reveal any more information. Luffy immediately interrupted Sanji, but asked Brook, what kind of fish is it? Sea carp, sea yellow croaker or kelpfish? Also, what's the name of that fish? Usopp. Sea carp, sea yellow croaker, kelpfish. Roronoa Zoro. Red Luffy asked that on purpose. Nami. Yes. If Sanji took the initiative to say Laboon's name, then it is impossible to judge whether Brook really knows the existence of Laboon. In case Brook is just a certain pirate group that once fought against the Rumba Pirates, whatever, how about reporting the name of the Rumba Pirates? Brook. Ah. Nami actually doubts me, I don't want to live. Nami. HMPH. That's right, I found out. Frankie, haha. Ah, hearing the option given by Luffy, Brook was taken aback. What is it, however? After all, he is an old antique who has lived for several years, and soon realized what Luffy meant. So, he said, ah, you are trying to test me, but there is nothing wrong with that. If you were really asking about the Rumba Pirates 50 years ago, then my answer is, Laboon is a whale. Wow. Really? When hearing this answer, Usopp, Nami and others all showed surprise eyes. There is one last question. Luffy still looked calm, he stared at Brook, and said calmly, what promise did I make with Laboon? At the moment of saying this, Luffy immediately released observation haki to the maximum extent. Although Brook is not breathing, under the perception of the top observation haki, his emotions can still be more or less perceived by Luffy. Luffy's words are still testing Brook. Although the name of Laboon can prove Brook's identity to a large extent, but Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates after all. He is responsible for the crew, so he is a little cautious. What promise did you make with Laboon? When I first heard this question, Brook was forced a bit. But then, he said in amazement, hey, how do I know what agreement you made with Laboon? Luffy shrugged. Yeah, you passed the test. If this Brook in front of him was deliberately done by someone, then it is naturally possible for him to do the intelligence work well in advance and get news about Laboon from the Straw Hat Pirates. And if that's the case, then you will definitely know the agreement between Luffy and Laboon. In the case of suddenly raising this question, it is very likely to say it directly. Only people who really know nothing about this matter will react like Brook. Hearing Luffy say this, Brook suddenly realized, ah, I just realized it. Your question just now is also testing me. That. So. Do you belong to a human or a ghost now? Nami asked cautiously while hiding behind Luffy. Ah. Beautiful lady, can you show me your chubby tits? Brook blurted out. Nami's expression froze. Then. Boom. The fist that covered armament haki landed on Brook's head without hesitation. Ah. A bunch of candied haws-like swellings appeared on the skull of the skull. Brook got up from the ground dizzily, and looked at Khalifa again. Beautiful girl. Before I finished speaking, Khalifa's whirlwind legs fell on Brook's face like raindrops. Your surname is Xiaoying. Damn it, why is this sea area getting too big? After finishing work, Khalifa did not tidy up her clothes. Luffy, I think it's better to throw this guy into the sea too, Buggy suggested at this time. Luffy nodded. I think it will work. Hearing this, Brook, with a bruised nose and a swollen face, quickly got up. Ah hey, I was just joking. Ah ha ha. We were joking too, Luffy laughed, and then announced, I didn't expect that we could find the only remaining partner for Laboon. Today is a good day, and we will have a deck banquet later. Yeah. Everyone was overjoyed when they heard it. Only the corners of the mouths of the cleaners trio twitched. Just finished cleaning, it's going to be dry again. This is our promise to a certain left-behind child. It is a great joy. The three of you will join us later. Luffy looked at the three of Lucci and said calmly. Not long, bonfire, barbecue, fine wine, everything is available. The deck banquet starts. Please allow me to bring you a song, Binks wine, yo ho 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 ho. Brook held a cane and sword, and sang while playing the melody. Get up. When I was having fun, Brook also performed a craniotomy show for everyone. It caused everyone to applaud. Then, Brook talked about how they came from West Blue, brought Laboon into the Grand Line, and how they were wiped out by other pirates in the sea area of the Devil protagonist. DC, Luffy also shared the experience of meeting Laboon and the agreement between Luffy and Laboon with Brook. The three of CP9 over there acted as the best melon-eating trio throughout the whole process. Barbecue and fine wine were stuffed into their mouths. You are still alive, Laboon must be very happy. Luffy is showing off the barbecue, while looking at Brook. What are you going to do next? Go back to find Laboon by yourself, or go around with us for the rest of the trip? Let's go to see Laboon together, because it is very close to the Saboti archipelago, and the Grand Line has already gone halfway. If Brook is sent back to Gemini Point at this time, then this. Going back and forth is equivalent to walking the distance of a Grand Line. A fool would do that. So now there are two options before Brook. One is to get a lifeboat from Luffy and the others, and drive back by himself. Of course, a person who drives a lifeboat back from the Grand Line, and is a person with abilities, is actually super dangerous. The other is to follow Luffy and the others through the rest of the journey, and then go to meet Laboon together. After all, Luffy also made an agreement with Laboon, no matter whether you find it or not. The members of the Rumba Pirates, he will go back and complete the agreement with Laboon. This. Hearing what Luffy said, Brook felt awkward. He shook his head. I can't choose either of these two options. In fact, I can spend at most one more day with you, and I have to leave. Going forward, I will be out of the fog. What, you don't want to go back and see Laboon? What do you mean, why can't you follow if you want to use the fog? Are you really a ghost in the fog? Do you have any secrets to hide? Are you worried that we will sell you as a rare creature? Hearing that Brook didn't want to leave the fog, everyone was confused. Brook quickly explained to everyone. No, everyone misunderstood me. It's not that I don't want to leave the mist, or as soon as I leave the mist, if the sun shines on me, I will instantly turn into ashes and die. Frankie scratched his head. Nani, what does this mean? Is it the curse brought by the resurrection of the fruit of the underworld? Devil fruit is extremely mysterious, and there are some special curses and side effects that special devil fruit will indeed have. Lu Chi ate the devil a long time ago. Fruit, so he will hear more about devil fruit. No, no, no. My resurrection and my inability to get out of the fog are two unrelated things. Brook shook his head, and continued, in this mist, there is a place called Ghost Island, which is the territory of 7 warlords of the sea gecko Moria. The heart strayed into it, and he took away the shadow. So once I was exposed to the sun, I would immediately be wiped out. 7 warlords of the sea, can you still take people's shadows? Luffy frowned. Buggy explained. It turned out to be Gecko Moria. He is a person with the ability of the shadow fruit. He can indeed take away the shadow of people. Is such that, hearing this, Luffy nodded, and then said, then let's go and get your shadow back. Since that place is in this fog, it definitely doesn't take much time, it's just a slight detour, it's not a big deal. But when Brook heard this, he immediately shook his head. No, no, no. I cherish our short-lived friendship very much, and I must not drag you down. My shadow will be taken away by myself. I came back and took it back. I am very happy with today's meal. Everyone will meet later. Speaking, Brook jumped directly into the sea. Hello. Everyone exclaimed quickly. A capable person jumps into the sea, isn't that courting death? Hello. Everyone exclaimed and rushed to the railing. I saw Brook running a circle on the sea surface, and said while running, yo ho ho ho, don't worry about me. My body is full of bones and very light, so as long as I keep running, I won't sink. It's a pleasure to get along with everyone, and there will be a period later. Speaking, Brook turned his head and ran into the mist. Rubber rubber catch chicken. Luffy's right hand shot out immediately, directly using the whoosh. When Luffy withdrew his right hand, Brook sat on the deck with a dazed expression. He looked around in a daze, and then said with a confused face, I'm back again. Ha ha. Everyone burst into laughter when they saw Brook's reaction. I have to say, this reaction is really funny. Stupid. You almost missed the chance to see you again, Zoro said calmly. Brook shook his head straight. No, no, no. You don't understand how troublesome Moria's fruit ability is. Don't look at how confident you are now, but once you step into the Ghost Island. You also ended up in the same fate as me. Frankie laughed loudly. Hey. You may think highly of 7 warlords of the sea. Pirates of that level are not very different from the little ones in front of our captain. Usopp proudly said, yeah, it's just Shichibukai, and it's not that they haven't cleaned up. When we were in Alabasta, we killed one. Take us to see Moria, and we'll kill the second one for you to see. Impossible. You should give up your heart, I will never take you to die. Brook's attitude is very firm. 8. Everyone is speechless when they see that Brook is so determined. No way. If a frog has never jumped out of the mouth of a whale, his cognition will only stay in the sky as big as the mouth. No matter what you tell him, he won't believe it. Seeing that Brook insists on this, Luffy is no longer persistent, so he looks at Usopp. Okay. Handcuff him with seastone handcuffs first, and then release him after we eliminate Moria. Good. Usopp takes the seastone from him and walks towards Brook. I won't be caught without a fight. Brook immediately wanted to escape. Result. Fart bastard. Usopp's left and right palms patted Brook at the same time. The palm of the left hand is a taste shell, spouting long-stored farts. The palm of the right hand is the wind clam, and what is blown out is the wind. With the mutual assistance of the two, it becomes a fart blow that condenses into a straight line. Brook suddenly felt dizzy and froze immediately. Usopp took out the seastone handcuffs, leaned Brook up slowly, and then put the other handcuffs on Brook's hand. Goldie Roger. Ha 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 ha. This kid is really talented. Yorogue. It's outrageous. Can Weibei and Fungbei still be used like this? This is too bad. Frankie. Ha ha ha. Our Usopp can do this too. Vinsmoke Sanji. Of course. The two of them are one person. It's just that they have different experiences. Sir Crocodile. Look at the situation over there, it's time to go to Moria now. Gecko Moria. Damn Straw Hat, he really lingers. Don Quixote Doflamingo. F you Furfur. You here are just beaten up, but you over there will die. Gecko Moria. Huh. Everyone's fate is not guaranteed. Dracule Mihawk. Do you believe that yourself? Gecko Moria. D. When they saw how Usopp subdued Brook, all the friends around were stunned. Damn it. It's too bad. Which way are we going to find Moria now? Frankie asked. Luffy smiled. No need to look for it. Didn't we meet several sea gods' imperial treasures? Along the way just now, let's go back and open a random, Moria will come. Nami's eyes lit up. That's right. Since the biggest boss in this sea area is Gecko Moria, he must have sent people to those decoys. Khalifa remembered something, and immediately showed an expression. It seems that the disgusting thing that is not a human, a lion just now must be Moria's subordinate. People are not people, lions are not lions. Hey, are you talking about a guy who looks like a lion, a transparent person who ate a transparent fruit? Area. Hearing Khalifa's description, Brook immediately asked. Buggy nodded. Yes. That's the big change. What? Did you meet Absalom? What happened? That guy's fruit ability has grown tremendously. Brook asked venomously. Buggy curled her lips. He's pretty cool, but what's the difference in ability? I just got on our boat and tried to do bad things, but I caught him. Then he was thrown into the sea and fed fish. Nani. Brook was dumbfounded. Is that a lie? That guy is a user of the transparent fruit. How could it be discovered as soon as I got on the boat? Nami asked impatiently. Don't be Nani. Just say that the dead mutant is Moria's subordinate, right? Yes. Yes. Gecko Moria has 3 cadres under his command, namely Absalom, the invisible fruit user, Perona, the ghost fruit ability user, and a corpse suture named Hobak. Doctor. Brook told what he knew. Hobak, hearing this name, Chopper suddenly widened his eyes. Could it be that genius doctor who used miraculous operations to save many intractable diseases? Brook nodded. Yes, that's him. Wow. It's him. He's a super powerful doctor. Confirmed by Brook, his eyes were full of admiration. Luffy asked suspiciously. Wait. Brook, you seem to say that he is a cadaver suturing doctor just now. What's going on? Brook explained. As far as I know, he used to be a very powerful doctor, but now he is a cadre under Gecko Moria, specializing in stitching various corpses for Moria, and then Moria stuffed the shadows he got into these corpses. In this way, a large number of zombie soldiers and zombie generals were found. Ah. Hearing this, Chopper suddenly exclaimed loudly, How could he desecrate those corpses like that? As an admirer of Hobak, Chopper feels disillusioned at this moment. Don't be sad because that kind of rotten person is not worth it. Nami held Chopper's little head and made a model. Although his medical skills are very good, but his character is too bad. Such a person is not worthy of being a doctor. You said he created a large number of zombie soldiers and zombie generals. Luffy caught some information in Brook's words, and his pupils narrowed slightly. Then, according to what you just said, wouldn't it be that many people were cut off by him? Brook replied. Yes, in this Devil's Triangle Sea area, many pirate groups have been murdered by him. On Ghost Island, there is a foggy forest, where the fog is so heavy that you can't see the sun all year round. Hide hundreds of guys who have lost their shadows. Luffy was taken aback for a moment, and then a strange expression appeared on his face. You mean, there are a few acres of pirates gathered in Moria, right? Yeah. They were all taken away by Moria, and they would die if they hit the sun. They can only hide in that forest. They are very pitiful, Brook said earnestly. Confirmed the news, Luffy was overjoyed. He clapped his hands heavily and laughed happily. Got rich. Gold D. Roger. Nani, this guy actually thought of getting rich, ha ha ha. Shiki. Wait for him to go around the big channel, and all the pirates in this world must be caught by him. Rox D. Zebek. If this kid fights a little harder, he will catch all the gang of dogs like ZZ, Linlin, and Kaido. Edward Newgate. Goo. Rox, when will you be resurrected? Charlotte Linlin. Yeah, Captain Rox, resurrected, ha 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 ha. Kaido. Catch us all, don't dream. You first ask Marine if he can come up with so many bounties. Sengoku. Luffy over there is himself a pirate, how can he give him a bounty? Gold D. Roger. You don't need to worry about that, the Luffy kid over there has his own way to withdraw money. Shanks. Haha. Yeah, get rich. Nami also laughed loudly, her bright eyes kept shining with the luster of Bailey. Buggy silently estimated. This is the grand line, the pirates who can appear here, at least 5 million shells or more. If there are hundreds of pirates, it is estimated that there will be at least a bounty of 1 or 2. Hearing this number, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates were all excited. Even if it's not to get back Brook's shadow, they must go to Ghost Island. And there is a marine branch in Saboti Archipelago. Because that place is the necessary way to go to the New World, the marine base branch there has a lot of bounty stocks. Maybe it will be able to use the 7th. The nearly 1 billion bounty that the branch owed them was also withdrawn. CP9 is dumbfounded by the three of them. Before they heard Luffy mention the matter of catching pirates for bounty, they thought it was incredible. And now that this thing is about to happen, they are even more shocked. At this time, Brook became anxious. Hey, those guys are poor people too. And some of them are just cooks or handymen on the ship, not all of them are guilty. Don't worry, we have a full set of bounty records here. As long as there is no bounty on the guy, or the crime of the bounty is unwarranted, we will not exchange them for the bounty. Nami took out the bounty booklet and clapped it in his hand. Shoot. Forehead. Good guy. Sure enough, professional. The CP9 trio was stunned. Thousands of miles of sunshine headed back towards the road just now, and found a sea god Yubauchen not long after. Boom. Accompanied by a burst of signal flares, the fireworks are played in the air, illuminated in the fog. Afterwards, 1,000 miles of sunshine stopped at the same spot and waited. Sure enough, in less than an hour, an island was slowly approaching them. Coming. Observation Haki sensed a wall approaching. Luffy took the intercom and said, adjust the main gun and blast this broken wall. No problem. In the control room, Frankie received the order. Then he issued an order to another intercom bug. Attention the main gunner. The captain has orders, step on the front wall. Yes. Jiwei twisted the waist of the water snake, and quickly operated the artillery interface. If you ask her to play ordinary guns, she will definitely not be able to. But for this kind of artillery whose trajectory is completely adjusted by the operation interface, she and Mots are definitely more effective than good snipers. Boom. Large caliber shells fell on the wall in front, immediately blasting the wall to open an intersection. Soon, 1,000 miles of sunshine entered through this gap, and then docked. However, Luffy's observation Haki has already noticed that this island is actually a huge pirate ship, but it doesn't matter. Instead, throw the anchor down and it will be fixed. Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Brook, and Lu Chi disembark, and the others stay on board. The reason for leading Lu Chi is because this guy is not considered his own, but also has certain strength, so he is a qualified pathfinder. Ah! Suddenly a hand came out from the ground and grabbed Nami's feet, and Nami jumped directly onto Luffy's body in fright. Brush. Shui Zou's blade flashed, and the zombie that emerged from the ground was always chopped into several pieces. Huh, this thing isn't dead yet, Suddenly seeing the broken zombies continue to crawl towards them, Zoro frowned. Brook explained. Yes. These zombies are inanimate, so they won't die, but salt and seawater can solve it. Luffy frowned. Then why didn't you say it earlier? It's okay, I just asked Usopp for a shellfish filled with seawater. Brook opens his own skull and takes a shell from it. When everyone saw this, the corners of their mouths twitched in silence. This head is really a good locker. Brook pointed the mouth of the water shell at the mouth of the zombie, and then sprayed out a stream of seawater. The zombie stopped immediately, and then saw a shadow floating out of his body, heading in a certain direction fly over. Where will that shadow go? Nami asked curiously. Brook said. That's the direction of the foggy forest. The owner of this shadow should be hiding there. When the shadow is shot out of the zombie, it will return to their owner's body by itself. Luffy nodded. I see. Then let's find their zombie, Admiral, and release all the shadows. You really have a kind heart, Brook said excitedly. Luffy gave Brook a strange look. I mean, if they don't have shadows, we can't get them to Marine Base. Okay, I was careless.